The only thing I can figure, I don't know if I'm live again. I don't know if you can see me. I don't know what's going on at this point. I'm gonna just refresh over here and see. Don't. Okay, so that says that's up. Let me go back to look at this. This says this is live. I apologize, guys. I'm really, really trying to get this to work. I don't understand what the issue is. So for those of you who are still here, would love to know if we're having any better results at this point. I did change a setting, but would love to know, can you guys hear me? Can you guys see me? Is the audio, is the video, is everything okay? Ivan says you can see me, and I should have audio. Can you hear me, Ivan? Would love to know that everything is okay at this point. I can see you not choppy. Okay, I can hear you just fine. Okay, so everything is good, yes? Like everything is at least better than it was. Like this is a watchable stream now. Clear as day. Ivan Lopez says, mic check 1. Says, Colin, Mike, yes, sir, you're good. Okay, so here's what I think happened. At least the only thing that I can think of that changed from, okay, the only thing that I can think of that changed is I set my my latency on YouTube to be like ultra low latency, and I don't know if that caused the issue, but but it is you broke it. That's what happened. Yeah, okay. As long as everything looks and sounds good, I'm happy. I hope you're happy. I apologize. This is how things go when you do things live. If I was recording, I could have just restarted, and you guys would have never known. But everybody says everything looks good. I'm stoked to hear that. We got chat running over here. It looks like we can see the chat right there, so I'm glad that is going on. Going on there. That looks good. Glad it's all working. Thank you guys so much for your patience. Like Ivan says, waiting for the education now. Let's do this. Yeah, let's absolutely do this. So, like I was trying to say earlier, in this video, we're going to take a look at a reverse proxy of sorts called Pangolin. This one recently popped up on my radar. Again, I think this came from, or where I saw it anyway, was from the self-hosted newsletter. I don't know, maybe I saw it somewhere else. I don't know anymore. But first, what are we drinking? Just water today, my dude. It is barely noon. My head's a little foggy, and I don't want to. Anyway, that's the different stream. Yeah, that is definitely a different stream. So we're going to talk about Pangolin, which is a self-hosted reverse proxy in a different context from using something like a traditional traffic or caddy or Nginx proxy manager or swag or whatever, right? There's a bunch of them out there. We've covered a few of them, and we've talked about a bunch of them over the past little bit. But this one's a little bit different in that this is actually meant to be hosted in the cloud, and then you install kind of an agent on your local system, and then you connect via that method. So hopefully we're going to take a look at that. In fact, let's jump over to my bottom desktop here. And this is the Pangolin docs page. They've also got a GitHub repository. We can see that this is actively being worked on, and it has been for a while, months. But some of these are as recently as just a few days ago. So active development. Love to see that. Digital Sparky says water looks awful lot like vodka to me. Yep, that much vodka would ruin my week. So anyway, what we want to do is take a look at Pangolin and getting that set up. I've only really looked at this kind of in a very local, closed, very controlled environment. So what we're going to do in this case is we're going to deploy this first on a VPS. I'm using RackNerd. There are links in the video description, hopefully on both platforms. I don't know, man. But I'm going to be doing this on a RackNerd VPS. They actually provided one for me a couple of months ago, and I've used it a couple of times. I've actually got a paid version as well. But there are links in the video description where you can jump in and get a really good deal on, like, this is a 1 gig VPS. So you get a vCore, 24 gigs of storage, gig of RAM, and 2 terabytes of transfer for like $11 a year. No link here. Sorry. Damn, I was really hoping you wouldn't say that. I mean, look, I'm glad you did, obviously. But so here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to paste all of that right there. And let's see if that works. That might have just broken everything because that's my luck, you know. Tell you what, let's just do this. Does that work? Man, nothing. What the heck? I swear one of these days. Oh, so that 1 gig, that's weird. That one came through. I don't know. Maybe the other one was just too much text. So click that, then you'll get my tracking cookie, and then I'll get credit for whatever you do. So, yeah. Anyway, that link is good. All right. Cool. So what I'm going to do is deploy, we're going to deploy Pangolin over here on RackNerd. So let's talk about this first. So the Fossorial system with Pangolin at its core is a self-hosted tunneled reverse proxy with identity and access management designed to securely expose private resources through encrypted WireGuard tunnels running in user space. Think self-hosted Cloudflare tunnels, and I really, really dig that. I'm going to be honest, though, this next paragraph almost threw me off and almost made me not look at it at all because Pangolin uses traffic under the hood to do the actual HTTP proxying. I don't like traffic. We've talked about that in the past. This may reconvince me, but we'll see. It also uses a plugin called Badger, which provides a a way to authenticate every request with Pangolin. A second service, Gerbil, we're getting a lot of animals here, it seems, provides a WireGuard management server that Pangolin can use to create peers for connectivity. And finally, there is Newt, a CLI tool and Docker container that connects back to Newt and Gerbil with WireGuard fully in user space and proxies your local resources. This means you do not need to run privileged process or container in order to expose your services. So, yeah. Digital Sparky says, "Get my tracking cookie." Honey be like, yoink. Yeah. You know, I have real mixed feelings. Well, I don't have mixed feelings. I hate what they did, and I hope that justice is served appropriately. I'm just going to say that. So if we scroll down, Fossorial has a couple of major components. Pangolin, which is management application and central server. The central hub for managing the application. Pangolin includes most business logic. I don't know what that means. An external facing REST API, WebSocket server for managing Newt sites, internal facing REST API for communication between components on the VPS, and a front-end server for the web interface, main database for storing data, and an authentication system. That's pretty decent, man. That's actually pretty good. So it's also got Gerbil, which we talked about in the previous little section there. All of this we've kind of talked about. We're going to expand on it. Gerbil acts as the intermediary for managing WireGuard configurations, and it creates and maintains the secure tunnels between sites and the Pangolin server. So that's pretty cool. The one thing I'm not entirely sure about yet is honestly port forwarding. I don't know if there's any port forwarding required. I feel like there probably should be, but I don't know yet. We're going to find out. So next we've got Traffic. We're probably all familiar with Traffic, but it's a high-performance modular reverse proxy that routes requests to private resources. Traffic is widely adopted, and its plugin system allows further customization and security enhancements. For example, out-of-the-box compatibility with plugins like Fail to Ban and CrowdSec, which I dig. Enhanced security via our own custom plugin Badger, which acts as an authentication bouncer. So let's talk about Badger. It's a custom traffic plugin that acts as an authentication bouncer. I feel like we just read that. It intercepts requests to the traffic reverse proxy and redirects unauthenticated requests to the Pangolin server for authentication. So kind of a redirect plugin, basically, based on whether or not you're authenticated. And then Newt, we've got a minimal user space WireGuard client. It's a lightweight client designed to run on the private network. Newt connects the Pangolin server via WebSocket and Gerbil via fully user space WireGuard. Facilitates networking through its connection to Gerbil and creates TCP proxies. So then we get a system diagram, and it's this little section right in the middle right there that I'm just not 100% sure about. Like, I've run everything, like I said, locally, and I've deployed Docker containers on other like LXCs and got it to work just fine. So there wasn't any need for port forwarding. So I'm not entirely sure if my VPS is going to be able to connect to my Proxmox server, because they're on different networks in different parts of the world, and there's a firewall or two or however many between them. So I'm not sure if there's going to be port forwarding required. It would be amazing. It would be so amazing if there was no port forwarding required. Because then you could just host. You could go spend $10 a year on a VPS, or sorry, let's call it $12 a year on a VPS over at RackNerd. Deploy this. It's very lightweight, and then not have to worry about using Cloudflare tunnels if you didn't want to. Because I know a lot of people are super against using Cloudflare tunnels because of the potential man-in-the-middle situation. But it doesn't really bother me that much, so I keep using it. But maybe Pangolin will change that for me. So let's see. Let's see. Go back up. Oh, Alexia had a small win today. She completed sorry, I don't mean to gender anybody. I apologize. I will use the neutral they, just in case. I think it's a better option anyway. They had a small win today, having completed their RSS feed, self-hosting fresh RSS, and using a desktop and mobile app to pull news in via an API. Of course, Collins has to make a dirty comment unrelated. Never had issues with traffic. Works great when using it with Docker tags and such. And that's the problem, honestly, Sparky, is that I don't like their tagging system. Like, I understand why it's there, but having to add tags to containers that already exist, like, if I've already got a bunch of stuff up, I don't want to have to go and redeploy them with new tags. I don't want to have to do that. And that's why I switched from Traffic to Nginx Proxy Manager initially. But then decided to go with Cloudflare tunnels when I started having a bunch of issues with Nginx Proxy Manager. So maybe this will help us avoid all of that. Now document it for my MKDocs website. Great. Project sounds interesting. I agree. Sparky says via WireGuard it should be able to work just fine. It'll create a VPN client connected to the Pangolin and then the target app, whereby walking right through the firewall. That's both amazing and scary simultaneously. Of course, I'm like that guy. Yeah, you really are. Sorry, I just I know there's a lot of different people out there, and I try to be accepting of everybody. Don't care what color your skin is, where you're from, who you like to be intimate with. I don't care about any of that. I care about who people are as people. So I don't want to be disingenuous. I don't want to be rude by mislabeling people. And so thank you for your understanding there. And I'm glad, Collins, that you accept that you really are that guy, always making the most inappropriate stuff whenever possible, and that's why we're friends. Let's see. MRCSDL says, I'm currently using Xeraxi, and it's awesome for a reverse proxy. Other people in the Discord are also using Xeraxi. I haven't really dug into it too much. That may be a video for next, or for live stream for next week. So we'll see. But I've heard good things about Xeraxi. I just haven't used it yet. Traffic also has. Then you don't have to adjust the normal. Interesting. I don't know anything about that, Jimmy, but I'm definitely interested. So let's see here. Sorry, I'm just double checking my stream over here in the other monitor while reading your comments as well. after what happened earlier. I just want to make sure that everything is still working. And it looks like the first 15 minutes have been going okay if I quit spitting. So let's see. Probably just get rid of that. Can I just delete that report? No, can't do that because the app connects to the Pangolin WireGuard network. So it's an outgoing connection from the app. Ah, that makes sense. Cool. Thank you for that explanation, Sparky. Much appreciated. You know, the other thing that I really need to do here, make sure that you guys can't see my screen because I don't want you to see my screen for the moment. Because I've got a password I need to grab and it's in plain text because I'm a terrible, terrible, terrible person here. I really need to just save it somewhere else. And I'll get there. I will, just not yet. Man, anyway. There we go. Copy that, close that, get out of that screen, close this. I'm gonna open a notepad. Great, I don't care. And I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that. Bring this over to here. All right, and then let's do that. Okay. Trat, dude, how you doing? Glad to have you here. Thank you for joining today. Much appreciated. Let's jump over here to my desktop. Let's see. Okay, so we've got getting started over here. We've got install, we've got manual install. So we've got an installer here that we can use. Man, I'm usually honestly not a huge fan of just running installers. Or, you know, we can do it this way. I think for the sake of simplicity, for the sake of transparency, let's put it that way. I think for the sake of transparency, we're going to use the Docker Compose for this rather than doing this, because this will do all kinds of great stuff. The downloader will install either the wget and make it, like it'll do everything you need to do to get this set up. I'm not too worried about that at this point. So what I want to do is learn how to type. We're going to do root at root at. Oh, of course I didn't save that. I suck so much some days. All right. Well, you know, since we're not quite fully awake here at this point, I'm gonna give this tab a second to load because this email always takes forever to actually come up. There we go. All right. Close that. Yes, I understand that. Okay, so we're gonna come back over to here, and then we're gonna come back over to there. And then we're going to grab that, we're going to paste that in there, and we're going to log in. We're going to say yes. Though I'm not entirely sure why I'm logging in here, if I'm being completely honest, because I'm pretty sure I actually have, yeah, let's just do this. It's not, oops, no, what? No, I don't want to do that. What? Close. That was dumb. Apparently there's a key combination I wasn't familiar with there. Jorge Gomez made it. Yay. That's awesome, man. Glad to have you here. Man, I've just got too many things. I didn't save that. I swear, guys, I'm going to get my stuff together here. I just can't promise that it's going to happen anytime soon. Hey, there's dark mode in the docs. Yeah, no, there's dark mode where this is stored. That's a true statement. No, it's in that folder, and then this is there. Oops. It doesn't really matter if you see that part. It's the other part I don't want you to see. All right. Cool. So, you know, we can just do it this way because that makes more sense anyway. All right, so here we are. This is the Portainer instance that I have set up on my RackNerd VPS. I'm just going to close that so I don't keep going back to it. I do want to grab this right here though. I want to go over to my environment related stuff, go into environments and make sure that is there. Cool, that is there. Neat. All right, so let's come back into this and we're going to go into stacks because that's see, in fact, I tested Xeraxi here. I knew I had tested Xeraxi at some point. I don't think there's anything running on it, so it should be fine. Yeah, it's fine. So let's create a new stack. We're going to call this Pangolin. Come on, man. Pangolin, there we go. And we're just going to copy this, and then we'll kind of dig through it a little bit in there. All right, because there's some things we're going to have to change. One of the first things I want to note that I appreciate that this developer has done is they don't have a version up at the top. It means they're staying on top of best practices for the newer versions of Docker Compose and that sort of thing. So for our services, again, we've got Pangolin. We've talked about that. Our image is Pangolin's latest. Our container name, Pangolin. Imagine that. Restart unless stopped. We've got a couple of sets of ports, 3000 and 3001. But we do have some volumes we need to fix. So I'm going to do home Docker Pangolin. I'm going to save that. Then we're going to do a health check every 3 seconds, it looks like, based on the API. That's what's going on there. Next, we've got Gerbil. And again, their custom gerbil with the latest container name gerbil. All of this looks the same. But again, I'm going to change this actually to be gerbil. I'm just going to do that for the sake of keeping things separate where necessary. Shouldn't be actually, you know what? Nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it alone because those were both set in the config folder of where we are. So I think that's going to be fine. We've also got some commands that it's going to run for making sure things are reachable, and it's generating and saving keys, remote config. That's all in there for the commands. We've got volumes again. We're adding some capabilities for netadmin and sysmodule. And then we've got 3 sets of ports. We've got 51, 8, 20, 443, and 80. That is for gerbil. And then for traffic, we've got traffic version 3.1. It's interesting, they stuck to a very specific version of traffic to make sure that everything keeps working, because traffic may change something in their latest version that would break things later. So I appreciate that they're like, we're going to pin this version of traffic because we know it works. And that's why pinning a version of a Docker container can be super, super important. Container name, traffic, restart list stopped. Network mode, service, gerbil. So that's what you were saying earlier, Sparky, is that it routes through that. That's how traffic is able to do that. That's interesting. Depends on Pangolin's condition being service healthy. We've got a command for the traffic config. And then, again, we've got a couple of config folders for traffic and Let's Encrypt for SSLs, that sort of thing. So that's what's going on there. I think that's it. I really think that's it. I'm going to look at my images real quick. Yep, just that. Okay. Just wanted to make sure what was going on there. So I think we're good with this Docker Compose. I'm happy with how all of that looks. We're going to access this on port 3000. It's going to route traffic through those 2 ports. Looks good to me. So I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to click deploy. Collins, I appreciate your support, saying I can do it. Man, I was starting to wonder for a minute, if I'm being completely honest. While that's doing its thing, though, I'm going to jump over to here so you can look at my dumb face while I look at this dumb screen. And I'm going to get logged into to Cloudflare because that is where I've got my domain not registered but pointed. So I'm using Cloudflare to manage my DNS. But only sort of. We're going to go here. So now we can jump back over. Now that we're in this, I bought dbtech.tube this morning and got it all set up. This is actually the second time I've owned this domain. Before .tube became available to just purchase, you had to go through like a Web3 kind of like not quite crypto thing, but it was this weird way that you had to go through to get a .tube domain, and I had it. Maybe it was dbtechyt.tube. I don't remember, but I bought dbtech.tube this morning. The reason we're here, the reason I wanted to show you this is because I've got my DNS set up for this. And I've got an A record for dbtech.tube pointed to my RackNerd VPS solution, right? And then I've got a couple of CNAMEs set up. This www is irrelevant. We don't really need that, at least not for what we're doing here. But I've got this wildcard in here so that traffic can pull SSLs for whatever I throw at it without having to come into here and manually add a new CNAME to everything as I go. So I've just got a wildcard CNAME set up. Now, the downside to doing it this way through Cloudflare tunnels, based on my experience, is that you can't use the DNS proxy for this to work. That may have changed. It's been a while since I've actually done this. Back when I was using Nginx Proxy Manager, I would do something like this and set up CNAMEs for the domain name and that sort of thing, just for simplicity, because this way I can just go in and change this A record and all of the CNAMEs will follow suit without having to individually edit each individual entry. So that's why CNAMEs are cool. If you're not familiar with that, you can point your CNAMEs at your root, and then when you update your root, everything just follows along with it, and I love that. So this is just me showing that I do have DNS records pointed to RackNerd and my specific IP address there. Oops! Oh, we got an error message and I missed it. Damn! What was that? Let's take a look. Let's deploy the stack again. We should get an error message up here. There it is. Container Pangolin unhealthy. Well, why? That's not helpful. And because Pangolin is unhealthy, none of it will start. But we don't know why Pangolin is unhealthy. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but what I am going to do, at least for the sake of what we're doing right now, I'm going to come down to here, and I'm going to change. I'm going to take out that condition. We're going to let it be dependent on Pangolin. That's fine. You know what? We're not. We're going to take all of that. We're going to take that whole little section out of there, just so we don't run into any issues with that. Let's deploy it again and see what happens. Because it just may be, nope. Container Pangolin error, dependency failed to start. Oh, you know what? Gerbil is the issue in that case. So we're going to take out that healthy dependency there as well and see why no such file or directory. I don't understand. New parent process. So it doesn't like the file system? Are you serious? See, this is really strange to me. Like, it genuinely is. I tell you what, here's what we're going to do. Because I want to keep this moving forward, and I don't want to keep troubleshooting this. I know that's kind of the point of this, but what I want to do then is actually come back to the install docs and just try the installer. See what happens. So we've got two options. They're effectively the same. It's just one uses a wget command, one uses a curl command. I mean, I shouldn't have to. That's kind of the point of doing it this way. But let's see. cd home ls c docker ls cd Pangolin ls cd config ls, like it's all there. So the container is going as far as to create that, but from my experience, limited as it actually is, when I see that OCI shim issue, it's very often a storage compatibility issue that I often see when a container doesn't like a ZFS file system, and I say that because that's what I use on my systems back here is Proxmox with ZFS. But that doesn't make sense either, because I've deployed it on Proxmox using ZFS, so I don't know. I say get rid of those. I may change. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. Right. We're just gonna go back to our home page. Oops. Docker PS just to make sure. Cool. So just to keep this moving along, I think what we're going to do is we're just going to run this wget command to download the installer, and then because that's what it's going to do is wget o or -o installer that URL. Then it's going to do a chmod plus x, which just means make it executable, and it's just make that installer executable. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to run that command. And then the next step for that is just sudo /installer. I'm already logged in as root, so I'm just going to /installer, like so. Enter your domain name. Okay. So we're going to do dbtech.tube. You guys probably can't see that real well, so let's zoom in. And then let's take all of this out of there for distraction. Okay, this is your warning, Barjom, or Barmajam. Don't do that. Like, this is your one warning. Do not spam. If you spam, I will have Collins or someone else ban you from chat. If you want to install Ubuntu on a Chromebook 3, go follow the tutorials that I've got. Do not spam my chat. That's not going to get you anywhere good. I promise that. Moving on. Enter your domain name. dbtech.tube, we've got that. Email for Let's Encrypt. Enter email address. We're just I'm gonna move. Man, that sucks. I guess, man. Sure, why not? Okay, so. I'm just gonna save that. Oops. Right, I did. I don't understand. At least one English uppercase, lowercase, one digit. Did all of that. Oops. Oh, I don't have. Really? And I can't backspace, so that means I have to retype basically the whole thing. So we're just going to do that. Disable sign up without invite. Yes. Disable users from creating organizations. Yes. Enable email functionality. No. To install and start the containers. Yes. So Jack Hall Trade says, late to the party, but curious if you're doing this in an LXC or VM on Proxmox. Not yet, no. I'm going to close out of that, though. So we're actually doing this on a RackNerd VPS because, let's go back to the homepage just real quick. Because the idea is that you've got your main node running on a VPS, and then we're building our own version of Cloudflare tunnels effectively with Pangolin. So we should be able to then install the agent locally on a node on my Proxmox server, and we should be able to communicate between the two of them without port forwarding. That's the goal for this setup here. So I'm going to come over here to this, and then I'm going to go. Interesting. 51820. Nope. Continue. Maybe. Nope. That's got to be on port 3000. Is it? Continue to site. Nope. Interesting. Pangolin, gerbil, 80. That's not how that's going to work. Pangolin overview. Man, I was pretty sure this was supposed to be on port 3000. It's choosing a VPS. We've already done that configuration file. I guess let's just do Hey, look at that. Neat. Huh. Neat. I don't understand. Unless one of you guys were funny and got in here, that's amazing. Okay, well then, did I screw up my email address? Oh, I did. Oh man. But there we go, man. Okay, we're gonna call this DB Tech. Sorry guys, like I'm just having a day, you know. So DB Tech is gonna be my organization now that I'm logged in. So no, my username and my password, I used different things than normal and it threw me off. So site name, first thing we're gonna do, we're going to, okay, that's interesting. Okay. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. So what this wants to do is actually already create our first agent effectively, right? This is setting up our organization, our site name. I tell you what, let's go over to Prox demo. Let's see, Jack All Trey Herd, uppercase, yep. Boo-boos? I don't even know, man. It says hello from Italy. Glad to have you here. Thank you so much for hanging out. Digital Sparky, yep. Def Colony, thank you so much. Appreciate all of the assists on that password. Again, I'm just, you know, I'm having a bit of a day for some reason, and I thought I was doing better, but apparently not as better as I was hoping. So let's see what we've got set up. Hortus Fox. You know what? Let's do Hortus Fox just because I've been wanting. I still need to make a video on Hortus Fox, if I'm being honest. That's root. Cool. So this is what we're going to do here. I'm going to go to copy, and I'm going to paste, and I'm going to do a 9443, that one, and do advanced, and proceed, and then we're going to get logged in. All right. So, so we've got, interesting. Why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? That doesn't make sense. Huh. Well, then let's go back over to here. Let's just redeploy this because I can't imagine there's an issue with it. Update. Yeah, that's fine. Cool. So now Hortus Fox should be running. That is the wrong address. Let's fix that too while we're here. Man, just, you know. So basically, if I were to have clicked that, it would have taken me to the wrong IP address. So we're just going to change that. Come back to containers. Hortus Fox is running. We're going to see that. We're going to click there. Cool. So, okay, what we want to do now, I swear, yeah, like I appreciate where you're coming from there, Hovenari Records. None of this is attached to any of my actual infrastructure, right? Like, I'm not, again, I appreciate where you're coming from, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. And I agree with what you said about funny watchers. It just takes one funny watcher. And that's honestly what I thought happened. That's why I went back and scrolled up. But again, this is all just demonstrative for the sake of testing some things out. So anyway, RK says, hey, DB Tech, I suggested you Pangolin on the last live. Cool. Thank you. I knew I'd seen it somewhere recently. You're right. Thank you, RK, for the reminder. I do appreciate that. Def Colony says, my friend's, his house got burned down in LA, Palisade fire. I don't know where everyone is from, but stays safe. I am, fortunately for me, I'm a long way from there. I'm thousands of miles from there. But I do definitely sympathize with the people who are there. So coming back over here to HortusFox, or sorry, to HortusFox, to Pangolin, we're going to put our name in HortusFox. Our method, we've got a couple of different ways we can connect, either via WireGuard or via Newt. I'm going to use Newt just because it's what we're here for, right? Honestly. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to say I've copied the config because I have. What I want to do, though, before I go into that, is I actually want to come back to the docs for this, right? I'm going to go to Newt because that's what we're doing, and we're going to do an install. And we've got some different ways we can do this, and we're actually going to use the Docker Compose for this. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to come back over to Portainer. I'm going to go back into stacks. I'm going to add a new stack, and I'm going to paste that into there, and I'm going to call this Newt for the name there. I'm going to call this hortus.dbtech.tube, and then my ID and my secret. Oh wait, I lied. It is just dbtech.tube. That's how it's going to connect. Okay. And then my secret over here, like so. I think all that's good. Yep, and deploy the stack. And then while that's doing its thing, I can just say create site. Sites, HortusFox says it's offline, and that makes sense. There we go. Now we've got Newt. Newt is running. Let's refresh. Nothing there yet, huh? Interesting. Let's view settings. General resources. Still says it's off. Oh, there it is. Now it's online. Yay. All right. Can Pangolin run without the VPS? Yes, it can. It doesn't, right. RK says it doesn't have to be in the cloud. It would be deployed at your home, and you could deploy in different places in your house or of your parents' house or whatever. Yeah, so, yeah, no, I'm super, super excited about this. Resources. We had a resource. What is a resource? Oh, my resource. Okay, we're going to call this. Okay, so what we want to do next. Oops, let's close out of that. So we've got our site set up, right? This is our managed sites. For HortusFox is online because we deployed this Docker container over here using Newt. Oops. And then so it says online, our site is left old field mouse. It just picks some random words. Data in, data out, connection type is Newt. Cool. So what we want to do next is add resources, I believe. Proxied applications running on your private network can be cool. So we're going to add a resource. We're going to call this Hortus. Like so, we're going to call this Hortus. Oh, and it already grabbed that. That's amazing. That's very cool. So it should be hortus.dbtech.tube, create resource. Okay, now we're getting into the SSL connectivity portion of things. We do want to enable SSL. Our method for this, if you're familiar with Cloudflare tunnels, this actually looks really, really familiar. I'm going to grab the IP address and the port from this instance. I'm going to paste that in like so. And oops, paste that in. We're going to save our target. Cool, target saved appropriately or successfully or whatever. Let's refresh that. Did it do it? It didn't do it. Why didn't it do it? Oops. 192.168.0.5, right? We agree on that. Oh, add target, because I'm stupid. I didn't add the target. That was my bad. Same thing happens on Cloudflare. So that worked. Okay, so now we've got that. We're going to save this target. Okay, target successfully saved or whatever. That looks good. Cool. So then we've got authentication. Do we want to use platform SSO for this? Yes or no? We can enter a role. Suggestion is the member, and then we can just say that. and then save users and roles. We can add password or password protection is disabled. We can add that. We can use PIN protection as well. That's crazy. Let's do this. Let's pop this open. That's amazing. So David at dbtech.tube. Copy that. Log in. Hortus.dbtech.tube is available. That is so cool. That's really, really cool. I don't have port forwarding enabled on my platform. I've got port forwarding disabled. Like if you go to my home's IP address, it says I do, but I did it on purpose. And it's a weird redirect for security reasons. That's incredible. So what I want to do is actually come into here, users and roles, DB Tech. Can I, general, tech sites, there we go. System, server admin, why, users and roles, dbtech.tube, confirmed, roles, member, interesting. Okay, well that worked. Like I don't even know what to say to that. It just worked. I'm blown away that it was. This may actually replace Cloudflare tunnels for a lot of people. I'm genuinely shocked by how easy that was to set up. It's not at all dissimilar to Cloudflare tunnels. I need a minute. We're gonna do that. We're just gonna come back to my dumb face for a minute because I am genuinely shocked by how easily that worked. I'm gonna do something over here real quick. Oops. Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna do that. I can't believe that just that quickly and easily without any kind of port forwarding. Oops, don't get out of there. Get out of there, man. Are you kidding me? Interesting. So anyway, I don't know why. Sorry, give me just a second, guys. I'm trying to figure something else out here. So anyway, that I'm sorry. I don't mean to keep harping on that, but it just worked, and that blows me away. Maybe it was that caused the issue. Let's do this. Huh. So give me a second here. I just want to do something. What distinguishes Pangolin from Traffic? How do they compare? What advantages does Traffic compare to Pangolin? I think the demonstration was right there. I genuinely think that was the demonstration. Yeah, like it just like Traffic is great as a reverse proxy if you just want to have it in house. But with Pangolin, basically you install Pangolin on a VPS or at your house or wherever, and then you effectively have your own tunnel. Right, so Pangolin is using Cloudflare. Pangolin is using a WireGuard VPN and a couple of their own plugins in association with Traffic to effectively create their own Cloudflare tunnel service that can be self-hosted rather than relying on a third party to get the same solution. So now you're not relying on on a third-party service, which is kind of what we've been trying to teach here on the channel, is to be more self-sufficient in the sense that we're not relying on, say, like Google Photos or Apple iCloud or whatever the case is, for the sake of self-hosting, right? So let me grab this, copy. Let's do this. Can I do it that way? Can I enter? Scanner over? Can I do X? No. Don't paste. Can I paste that? Nope. I don't know. Strange. Combination. Yep. Okay. So, Barmjam, this is your last warning. This is your last warning. I am not fucking around anymore. Okay? I gave you the solution you need. Go watch the video. But spamming this to try to get help with something that's not associated with this stream or this piece of content, next time you say anything about your Chromebook or installing a different operating system on a Chromebook during this stream or any other stream that isn't associated with doing that, will get you banned permanently. I promise that. I'm done. Okay, I'm done. This is how I talk to my child when I'm frustrated with them. Do not push me. I will ban you. Josh G says, sorry if I missed it, but why this over something like Cloudflare Tunnels? I've been needing to set something. Yeah, Digital Sparky nailed it. Cloudflare Tunnels relies on Cloudflare, and this is self-hosted and managed. Of course, there are security implications with that as well. It's more overhead, it's more management and that sort of thing. So there are trade-offs, right? But that's just kind of the nature of self-hosting anyway. I don't think I understand this enough so I can take my questions to the Discord. That's fair. 100% happy to help you there. You get all the features without the vendor lock-in. That is absolutely true. Yep. All that looks good. Sounds good. I don't want to take us too far off track. Nope. Cool. Appreciate you being willing to do that, Josh. Really do. But that's kind of why we're here also. So I've also got Discord open. So I'll be checking that periodically just to make sure that everything is working appropriately. The one thing. Sorry, you're just gonna have to keep looking at my face for a minute while I figure something out. I'm just trying to figure out a couple of things here. This server signed in as that. Log out. Maybe I can do it this way. Let's do this. I'm gonna do that. Valid. Sure. Create that. Yeah, we're gonna do that. And then we're going to do that. We're going to create an account. I'm going to save that. Users and roles. Give me just a second here. Manage user. Interesting. Huh. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out some permissions and that sort of thing. Roles, users, that. Interesting. Manage user, that's fine. Access controls. General, danger zone, huh. All right, so let's scroll back up. Okay, so Noah Kanoa says joined at the wrong time. I apologize. There was one person in chat who was spamming stuff earlier, who keeps bringing up the same thing that has nothing to do with this stream or this content. So I had enough. Collins, Nighthawk, if you're here, if you see it again, just ban them. Just fucking ban them. I'm done. Let's see. Yeah, RK says Cloudflare Tunnels has a limitation of 100 meg file upload and security trust issues because they can technically man in the middle your traffic if they want. So 100% agree with that. Shreeman said my dad banned me. I'd definitely be confused. Yeah. This is YouTube and Twitch. It's both. I'm trying. Here's the thing. Since we're here, since we're talking about this, there are several streamers, or there are several content creators out there that I watch periodically who have repeatedly said the same thing. I think it was Ludwig, Pirate Software, and maybe even Penguin Zero have all said something to the effect of, and I may be misquoting, I don't want, if I misquote this, I apologize. So the idea is that YouTube is a video on demand platform, right? And then they added streaming to it later as a secondary thought. So that's what I've been doing for the last few years, and it's been going pretty well. But all of my eggs are in that basket, so to speak, right? Like all of my online videos, all of my everything is tied to YouTube, or has been up to recently. So their idea is the idea behind this, what I'm trying to get at here is that YouTube is a VOD, a video on demand service with live streaming added to it after the fact, whereas Twitch is a streaming service with VOD added kind of after the fact. And these different streamers that I've watched talked about this to a certain degree, and basically the idea is that if you stream on both, you get the engagement from Twitch, and hopefully more subs, more follows, more bits thrown at you. You kind of get that upfront initial monetization. If we're being completely honest, this has to do with monetization. I'm trying to earn more money so I can better support my family, right? So by putting this on YouTube and Twitch, I'm hoping to benefit twice. The first being the stream on both. If people tip me on either one of those, that's great, and I super appreciate that. It's part of the engagement process for streaming, right? But once this is over, nobody's ever probably going to watch it on Twitch again. So with Twitch, you get the initial engagement from the stream, and then probably nothing after that. But with YouTube, you will probably get some engagement from the stream, but people are more likely to go back and watch the video on demand, like the VOD after the stream. Like once the stream is done, people will then have access to it on YouTube. So there's two different avenues at which I'm approaching this in hopes to again increase my income. That's what it really boils down to. And I know that sounds selfish, but at the same time, I know that there are people just off the top of my head, I know Alexia prefers Twitch. Obviously, I'm not doing this for Alexia, but there are people who prefer Twitch over YouTube or YouTube over Twitch. And by streaming at both places simultaneously, I've got a better chance of attracting more viewers and more people to build the community. And I know that there's going to be a split on those two platforms, and that's fine. But if I can stream to both platforms simultaneously, that's what I want to do to engage more people. And then, of course, in turn, hopefully increase my revenue. Now, the problem is with Twitch, because I'm basically starting at the bottom, I haven't achieved affiliate status yet. I haven't achieved any of the statuses yet that actually allow me to earn income from Twitch. So these first few streams that I'm doing on Twitch are just to get the, basically to meet the requirements. That's what I'm trying to say there, is meet the requirements so that I can become an affiliate, I can become a partner, I can become whatever the case needs to be so that I can start earning money from Twitch as well. So that's why I'm doing it on both. So I know that was a really, really long answer, and I apologize, but that's why. Wow, I scrolled way up somehow. Okay, we talked about that. Dave asks the question, I know this isn't the topic, but have you messed with Komodo for deploying Docker? I've deployed it and looked at it for like a microcosm of a second. Because it's a lot. Like it makes my initial impression is that it makes Portainer look small. And I know that's because I'm not familiar with Komodo yet, but I definitely want to look at that at some point. Brennan says, also kind of an off-topic question, but what got you into home labbing? A couple of things. It was the perfect storm of nonsense is really what it boiled down to, right? Until 2016, I had a 9-to-5 job, right? And God, that was 9 years ago. Crap. So until 2016, I had a regular 9-to-5 job at different places over the years. But I've always been interested in tech. And then in 2016, I got sick. I was hospitalized for like 6 months, and I got home and I couldn't work a 9-to-5 job anymore because I was having to go to dialysis 3 days a week. I was having doctor's appointments in the middle of all of that. My days were packed, and I'm on permanent disability because of my end-stage kidney disease. And so I couldn't go back to a 9-to-5, and the disability, the Social Security disability helps, like it pays my rent. It pays a couple of things, but it's not much. It covers my rent and like part of my utility bill, and that's it. So I needed a way to earn money, and I didn't know what that was going to be, especially early on because I was so incapable of doing much of anything at that point. We just kind of trudged through life for like 3 years roughly. And then in late 2019 or early 2020, I decided I wanted to build a Plex server. We were trying to save money. We couldn't afford, Netflix and Disney and Hulu and right? We couldn't afford it. But we've got an autistic son, and one of his favorite things to do while he's swinging, while he's jumping, while he's flapping, while he's spinning, while he's doing all of his stuff, he loves to watch TV. And I'm not concerned about that because he's the most active person I've ever met in my entire life. And I really, really do mean that. He never stops moving, basically. So we needed a way to give him that, but cut our overhead. So I started doing some digging, and I was like, okay, I can set up a Plex server, but I don't know how. So I got into looking into that, and I installed OpenMedia 4 on an old PC that I had laying around, and I was like, oh, they've got a Plex plugin, let's get that installed. So I did that. And then in just a short amount of time, I had Plex set up on OpenMedia 4, and it worked. And my mind was blown. I was like, I can really do this. So I was like, I want to do that again, but I want to make a video and show other people how to do this. I think that'd be really fun. So let me put a pin in that for just a minute. A couple of years prior to that, so in like 2015, 2014, kind of somewhere back there, I had one of the original Fitbit charge devices, like one of the original Fitbits, the big one. And it had this issue with the actual device separating from the band that goes around your wrist. And so I submitted an RMA for it. They sent me a new one, and it happened again. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna make a video so they can see what's going on, right? So I made this video about the Fitbit charge band peeling. And my goal was to send it to Fitbit so that they could see it, so that they could actually see what I was experiencing rather than just photos, right? Just like single frame photos. So I made this video, and I shared it. Or I put it on YouTube, but I made it public rather than unlisted for some reason. So anyway, I shared the video to Fitbit, and they're like, "Oh, okay, we see what the issue is. Here's another one." And here, several years later, that video's got like 300,000 views. It's one of my most viewed videos, and it was never meant for public consumption. So I knew that there was an audience for certain things tech-related on YouTube. So fast forward, so I was like, okay, I want to make a video. I think I could make good videos. I think that would do well. So I made a video on installing Plex via the plugin in OpenMedia 4. And I made it, and I uploaded it, and I shared it on Reddit, and this dude decimated me, telling me that I was wasting my time and his time and everybody else's time because Open Media Vault 4 was about to EOL, and it wasn't going to be supported anymore. And then Open Media Vault 5 was like in a final like beta release, and it was about to come out, and they were doing away with that plugin, and they were going to do Docker. So I needed to learn Docker was the gist of his tirade. But he was curt, he was concise. He wasn't rude necessarily. I'm embellishing the story to make it more interesting, but basically he's like, dude, you're wasting everybody's time by doing it this way. Go learn Docker. And I was like, cool, what's that? Like, I'd heard of Docker in the past, but didn't know anything about it. And he actually helped me. Like, he got me started in Docker. And he kind of explained some things to me, and then I made that video. My first official Docker video was Plex. And it worked, and it got a lot of views, and I've just been making content since then about Docker containers primarily. And I've really enjoyed that. I built a community of people who are here right now chatting with me. Literally right now, the highest number of viewers I've ever had in a single live stream. According to Streamlabs, there are 79 of you wonderful people out there watching my dumb face talk to my camera, and of course you as a result of that. But that's how I got started, man. I made a video and it got decimated on Reddit like you would expect, but the dude who did it helped me, and here I am all these years later, still kind of paying it forward in my own way. So yeah, that's honestly what got me into home labbing. Was I had a need, which was I needed a media server. I found Plex and I got it to work, and I made a video about it, and I've been making videos pretty much since then. The only thing I don't like about this is the installer. I figured it'd be a normal bash script, but it definitely binary and can't make anything out. I actually have a solution for that, I think. Well, okay, so let's actually back up on that. So if you do a manual install, they do have a Docker Compose for this, but for some reason I couldn't get it to work, so I went the route of setting everything up, and it very well could have been that I didn't have all of the folder structure and everything in place. So I used their install script, which I know isn't everybody's cup of tea, and I get that. But that's kind of why we're doing this. Of course, you can't see my screen. Let's try that again. So they do have the Docker Compose over here, right? They've got this folder structure that it created the config folder, and it created some of the other stuff, but it didn't create everything, I don't think. And I think that's why I ran into issues. So that's why I went back and used the installer script for that. So anyway, so I agree. I'm usually not a huge fan of just running an installer without even looking at it, which I don't know why I didn't try, but I didn't. So, but it's up and running now, and that's cool. How does this compare to Cloudflare? Is it better? For now, is nothing different, more complicated than Cloudflare Tunnel? What? I mean, this is a self-hosted Cloudflare, basically 60 plus TV. Future, excuse me, DP Tech, we are not children, and talking like that comes over really negative. You really, everything swearing like that is professional. Look, I agree. I don't normally swear in my live streams. But that one user really pissed me off, and I needed to express to him that I was really angry. I normally don't swear in my videos and my live streams. I don't. So you caught me in a moment. We all have moments. Here's what you've got to remember, Future, or F4 Tour. I'm a person. Like I'm a real person sitting here in a room talking to a camera, like I said, and you guys, obviously. But the reality is, I'm a person with feelings and emotions, and I get frustrated just like you do in your situations. So for you to tell me to not be a human, that's not fair either, right? Like, I get frustrated in things that I do, just like you get frustrated in things that you do. This person had already been warned multiple times to drop the subject that he kept bringing up. I'm sorry if you were offended, okay? I understand that swearing isn't professional. I understand that the tone I used then, and honestly the tone that I'm using right now, isn't great. But the reality is, I'm a person just like you are. And I hit my limits just like you do. So I was angry at that person because he wouldn't drop it. He kept wanting me to change the entire premise of this stream to talk about installing Ubuntu on a Chromebook after he'd been told multiple times to stop doing that. And now I'm frustrated with you, if I'm being completely honest, because you're asking me to not be human. You're asking me to suppress all of my humanity and all of my emotions and just produce the content that you want to see. I'm still a person. And I have every right to express myself how I feel that I need to do that in order to get my point across. If you're not happy with that, I respect your opinion. I do. If you would rather go watch someone else talk about this subject right now, or if you want to unsubscribe from my channel because of the attitude I've got right now, you're entitled to do that. But this is my community. And these people are here to listen to me and engage with me and see what I am doing. When I get pushed to a point that angers me, sometimes I swear. If that upsets you, there's a billion other channels you can go watch right now, and I encourage you to do that. Moving on. This service won't mask the IP address like Cloudflare does. I agree with that. The visitor IP should still be accessible. Yep. Noah says hi. Glad to have you here. Colin says, a question here. Does Pangolin incorporate the Cloudflare proxying capability to help hide your IP? I don't know. I don't know. Like, so basically, if you were to, I don't even have it open. If you were to probably ping, let me just do this. Let's just find out. Let's just exit. Yeah. So here's what's cool about this, right? So to answer your question, Collins, it sort of masks the IP address. Oops. There we go. Okay, so here we are, right? This is my command prompt. I'm sure we're all familiar with this, right? If I ping dbtech.tube, that is not my home IP address. That is my VPS IP address. So, so you would want to harden your VPS wherever you happen to host Pangolin. But as far as actually masking it, it's only going to give you the IP address of where it's hosted. It shouldn't, in theory, forward that to where your nodes are, right? Where your different remote access points are. It shouldn't. Let me do this. Let me do this. Yeah. So even when I ping, yeah. So even when I ping hortus.dbtech.tube, again, that is my VPS IP address, not my home IP address. So in a sense, it will obfuscate your home's IP address or wherever your actual applications are, but it will still give you the IP address of where your Pangolin instance happens to be. In my case, it's in the cloud. So you probably want to harden that before you make it public. Tree says, I prefer YouTube video, but Twitch chat tends to be better. I agree. YouTube live stream, that is. Yep. Compared to Xeraxi, I don't know. We actually talked about that briefly earlier in the stream. In fact, I had Xeraxi installed for a brief moment, but didn't actually do anything with it. Josh says, Twitch banned me for some unknown reason. Only signed up for your stream following last week's live stream. I appreciate that. I asked because I like Twitch UI for better reasons. I think their spam settings are very sensitive. Mod's got a Twitch link. It should be in the video description of the YouTube. There we go. Thanks, Collins. Appreciate you. Now on Twitch, awesome. Never knew that science, technology, and Twitch. Never knew that science and technology exists on Twitch. Thanks, dude. I'm not even gonna. I'm gonna screw that whole thing up. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you, I'm going to call you JC, which is confusing because we've also got James Collins. I don't know how to pronounce Jokke. I apologize. I just don't. I am not familiar with that name. Yep. Alexia did show me that. It's just better for that channel. Agreed. It's called Creative License. And don't forget, you also got many people into home labbing. That's a weird thing for me to think about, Alexia. It really is. The idea that I've also gotten at least a few people interested in home labbing. It's kind of a neat thing. Like, I took something that interested me and I started making content about it and started building a community of people who also got into their hobby of home labbing and that sort of thing. I've received dozens of messages, either via comment or like a video comment or a social media post or an email saying, hey, because of what you've taught me, I've now got a job in IT. And that blows my mind, because I don't have it. I technically have a job in IT doing this, but that's amazing. I love that the hobby that got me into this is now helping other people get the jobs they've been looking for, and I can't even fathom that. Dave says, we love your live streams, love them, love the interaction. I've learned so much from your videos. Thank you, Dave. Really do appreciate that. Or got people who were thinking about it. Agreed. Yep. Jorge, dude, thanks for joining. Appreciate you being here. Docker saves you in the long run. Thanks for doing this. Appreciate it. I'm relatively new to subscriber and really do love your formula. Keep doing what you do, sir. Thank you, Tesla Maxwell. Appreciate you. If it's simpler to install the Docker Compose, then why do the binary? Again, they do have the Docker Compose. I just ran into an issue trying to deploy it. So to keep things moving, to keep the content flowing, and stop with all of the troubleshooting, I just installed via their install command. It's not probably how I would do it. If I were to do this, like if I were to actually deploy this, it's probably not how I would do it. But it's definitely, they do have a Docker Compose. I wanted to keep the stream moving. Brennan says, I love hearing your story earlier. You're extremely good at what you do. Definitely keep up the great work. Thank you. I'm always working on trying to be better. I know I talk too fast. I've tried so many times to not, and I feel like when I'm not talking in my normal rhythm and cadence and speed and all of that kind of thing, I feel like I'm talking down to the people watching my videos. I feel like I feel like I sound arrogant and condescending when I try to like slow down, and I feel like I'm talking like to a toddler, right? And you guys, most of you guys are smarter than me. I acknowledge that. And I appreciate you guys, even that being the case, coming to watch me do this. But I'm always trying to do better, and that's also one of the reasons that I wanted to start doing more live streams, right? Because I can't really edit myself live, right? Like I can do 1,000 takes if I need to when I'm doing a video. When I'm just doing just a regular tutorial video, I can do as many takes as I need to. But here I can't. I have to be on my game. I have to really think about what I'm doing and what I'm saying and that sort of thing. And sometimes the wrong parts of my personality come out in certain moments, and we've talked about that. But I'm always trying to do better, and I think that that's something I will always do, is always try to do better, because I didn't for a long time. Hey, saw your video, set up my first Casa with gluten and qubit. That's amazing. That's really cool. That video, I've made that video so many different ways on so many different subjects, but it all kind of ties back to using gluten as a VPN for your stuff. Those videos are fun, though there's still some issues with them. I always enjoyed making those. It says on that page that you're on that certain files are generated and certain ones are not. So that's probably what the issue was. They're marked with generated. Yep, you're right. I actually remember reading that. Jack says, your videos are a huge part of beginning my home lab, OMV5 on a Pi 5, with no clue what I was doing. I appreciate everything I've learned from you. Well, I appreciate you watching. I really do. Like, I couldn't do this if you guys weren't interested. I mean, I could, but why, right? Like, I mean, I enjoy the creative process, but I definitely think my attention would have gone somewhere else if there weren't people watching me do this stuff. So, streaming. Yeah, Dave says, I had to check today to see if he was streaming. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't sure if I was going to stream. Like, I want to stream a couple of times a week. Probably Saturdays and Mondays, I think, will be the 2 days that I will stream. Because I know Saturdays are more people are available, especially early in the day. And I know, and because of my schedule, I kind of have to stream early in the day most of the time. So it'll probably be Saturdays and Mondays, right around, again, 11 o'clock or noon Mountain Time, Denver time. Sometime between like 10 and noon is when I will start. I'm still trying to work out my schedule on that. Canadian Mist says just ban them. They will get banned if they keep it up. Expressing anger is very important. I thank you, Kazi. I genuinely appreciate that. Just my 2 cents, nothing to apologize. Feel the feelings, totally valid. Appreciate that. Dave says I don't have to explain myself. Love what you do. I'll have to get some rest. It's almost 4:30 in the morning. Holy crap, Sparky. Go get some rest. Okay, so Future says, I never told you not to be human. I'm just pointing out that swearing is not professional. Then just don't show him this live stream. That's all I can say, right? I don't swear in my videos. Like in my regular everyday, my once a week or twice a week videos, I don't swear. So maybe just don't show them this. I can pretty much guarantee if you went through every video I've ever released, there's never been more than a hell or a damn it or an ass in any of those videos. So just don't show them this live stream, I guess. Keeping close on Discord. It's community after the last stream. Thank you, Collins. Appreciate you as per usual. I know I'm way behind on some of this. So Collins says to expand on the IP stuff, there's no reason that you couldn't add Cloudflare proxying on top. I think the issue that you would run into in that particular situation is has to do with SSL renewals. And I don't know how that's being handled. Let's go in and look together, right? Because the problem is if they're, depending on how the IP address is, depending on how the SSL is initiated or issued, it may be based on IP address. There are cases where you can do like DNS stuff with SSLs, but I don't know. And I'm actually glad that you brought that up. Yeah, it doesn't say anything there. There's some other stuff that we need to actually take a look at when we get back to this. But I'm afraid that if you put Cloudflare proxying back in place on those things, that it might screw up the ability to renew or even issue the SSL. But you know what? F it. Let's find out. Right? That's what we're here for. Right? That's genuinely why we're here. So let me do this, and let's go find out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get logged into my dashboard here. I'm going to go to my dbtech.tube domain name. I'm going to go into my DNS. Yeah. Okay. So here we are. I just wanted to make sure there was nothing that was going to cause an issue there. I'm going to turn on proxy status on all of this and just see what happens. Because I think the issue is going to be with the wildcard. This record exposes an IP address, uses the A record on DBTech tube. Enable the proxy status to protect your origin server. Okay. So save. And then let's refresh, right? Let's make sure. Okay, so we have our A record for dbtech.tube, and then we've got our wildcard, and all of this is being proxied now. So now that we've got that, let's come back to Pangolin. let's go to, we've got our site set up. No, we're going to add a new site, right? We're gonna go back to Proxmox demo here. Let's find. Oh yeah, see, I've got Komodo right there. So I've definitely looked into it. I just haven't gotten all that far with it. Slink post is. Tell you what, let's do this. We'll just throw Excalidraw up for the sake of what we're doing here. And then I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to grab that. And then I will come back over to here. We get logged in. And I typed that wrong. I felt it. You ever type something and know, even if you can't see it, you know you typed it wrong, and then you have to go back and undo it all. So we're on .6 here, so we're just going to change that to .6. And then we're going to come over to here and do this, and we're going to get logged in. And then we're going to look at the environment-related stuff. We're going to put that in 192.168.0.6 and update and containers. And that is not what I thought it was. Damn. Damn. Well, let's try again, because that obviously didn't work. Yeah, we'll just shut that down. So we're going to come back to the IP address stuff. Well, man, that booted up faster than I thought it would. So it's .15. We're going to get there, I swear. And advanced and proceed and log in. That, and then environment and local and 15 update containers, Excalidraw. There we go. They are both starting. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Okay, so I've got this. This is the Docker Compose that we're going to use to install the agent on our Excalidraw setup here. I don't care. We'll use one of them. I don't care which one. But what we're going to do is come back to stacks. We're going to add a stack. We're going to paste that in there. Again, we're going to call this Newt. And then what I'm going to do is put in some of the stuff that it says here. I'm just going to copy this and again, paste it over here. So, so the information that you get in this little box right here is how you're going to find the information to put in for your endpoint, your ID, and your secret. And what I do appreciate is that each ID and secret are different. I understand that that's how it should work, but I appreciate it nonetheless. So we're going to go ahead and let Newt deploy. This shouldn't take too awfully long. And then we're going to test to see if we can use Cloudflare's DNS proxy with Pangolin and SSLs. So we've copied the config. Newt is up and running. I'm going to refresh this page. Aha. See, there we go. There's the issue, right? So dbtech.tube. Because we've got the Cloudflare proxy in place, we're going to go ahead and turn this off and click save. I think this is going to be the issue, is that if we use the Cloudflare proxy, we can't use the SSLs, and it's going to put us in a redirect loop. DNS, man. Caching. The whole friggin' bit. Let's refresh this page while we're at it, just to make sure. Yeah, so I think that's what's happened there. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So anyway, resources, Hortus Fox. That didn't work. That's interesting. Oh. What's this? Oh, right. And, interesting. So because my root admin has only given this account access to Hortus Fox, it doesn't show up over there. That's pretty cool, actually. Let's do this. Let's do So hopefully, Collins, I think that demonstrated kind of what was going on there. Hopefully that helps. So proxying, Cloudflare proxying on top of everything else probably isn't going to work. RK says Zorxy is a pure reverse proxy. Pangolin is a completely different approach. Rather not comparable. It depends on your needs. Yeah. Alexia. Kalashaz says, hey, long-time YouTube subscriber, thanks for the tutorial. They really helped me understand Docker better. I recently built an Unraid server. Let me come back over to here. Never thought I'd get this far. Appreciate it. Dude, thank you for letting me know that. I've still never messed with Unraid. I've had people offer me licenses and all kinds of stuff, and I've never messed with Unraid. Jorge says, I started with you, and I'm grateful. I appreciate that. Just joined Discord last week. Need to be more active in there. That would be amazing. Because of your videos, I'm now accelerating my career by learning Docker Linux stuff and learning stuff in deployed apps. Right now, I'm a service desk engineer and on my way to be a sysadmin. That's amazing. Oh, okay. No worries, Tree. Appreciate that. Let's do it live. Absolutely. I think using the script like Pangolin isn't that bad. I know the threat model, but come on, just using a Docker, you're going to download an image. Yeah, kind of. Soish says, I frankly appreciate having things explained to me in the most simple terms possible, no matter how knowledgeable on a subject I am, because it often gives me a new perspective on the topic, which helps me in turn understand it better. Totally agree with that. 100%. Started my home lab with your videos. Greetings from Poland. Dude, that's amazing. I'm not even going to try that. That's too many S's and Z's and C's all compacted together. But thanks for joining from Poland. That's amazing. Saw you online. I'm sitting here trying to rescue my daughter's biz after she dropped her QNAP NAS on the floor while it was running. Dude, Borg, that sucks. I can't imagine. So we're there. Sometimes you even know exactly what you only type the last character. Yeah. Yep. Password stuff there. Don't need a license to mess with Unraid. Sheepdog says, why do you prefer to use Docker over Kubernetes? Because I don't have any need for orchestration. That's honestly what it boils down to, is I don't have any need for orchestration. Thank you to show Pangolin. Maybe need to have a closer look to check it out on my side as well, but I think I'll stick with my current solution in the end. Dude, thanks for joining. I appreciate that. That's pretty cool. Let's see. Oops. Let me do this. No, don't ever ask me that again. Tech.tube. It's gonna work. Page isn't redirecting properly. That sucks. Way to kill the stream, Collins. What are you doing, man? Making me do that? Kidding, obviously. Sorry, I'm hearing weird noises, and I got to check to make sure that everything's okay in the house. There's weird noises in the house, and I'm not sure I like it. Come on, give me a second. Hold on one second, guys. Give me a second. I apologize. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I could hear the kid making high-pitched noises, and sometimes that's good and sometimes that's bad, and I couldn't find him on the cameras in the house. I didn't check the kitchen because I couldn't see him through the living room, which sounds weird, I know. But so they're in there playing with slime. He's laughing his ass off, having a good time. So everything's good. I just wanted to check. How do you feel about managing Proxmox with Terraform? I have no idea. I've never used Terraform. I did see a video. Somebody posted a video recently that showed up in my feed about using Terraform and Proxmox, but I didn't watch it. Infinity Rex says, greetings from India. Love your videos. Thank you so much. Soish says, people talking about Unraid, and I'm here chilling while transferring some stuff over my server because Unraid is not for me. You know, here's the thing. Like, I know that Unraid has a huge community, and I respect that. It's same thing with like, oh, and I've lost it. What's the other one that's not Tailscale? Not Tailscale. God, I can't even get my words straight. TrueNAS Scale. That's the one I'm looking for. Like I've looked at TrueNAS Scale before, and it's a lot to take in if you're not familiar with it. And I kind of feel the same way about what I've seen with Unraid. Is there's a lot to learn to get it to work, and that's something I probably should do for my own furthering my knowledge about different platforms and that sort of thing. But it's just something I haven't done. It's just something I haven't done because I can't say, well, I don't have the hardware for it, because I do. I can't say I don't have the time for it, because I do. I think the problem has been, at least up until recently, I didn't have the mental headspace for it. And I may or may not for a while. I don't know yet. But thank you, Collins. Appreciate that. But yeah, so I haven't dug into TrueNAS all that much. I haven't dug into Unraid all that much. And I haven't used a lot. Like, I've used a little bit of Ansible and Semaphore. I don't really have a need for much orchestration. I use Ansible and Semaphore for updating my LXC containers. That's it. Like, my LXCs get updated once a week via Ansible and Semaphore, and that's it. Like, I know, like Nighthawk is always in here, like, deploying VMs and LXCs and all kinds of stuff using Ansible and Semaphore, and I'm not that guy. I don't have that level of understanding yet. Jorge says, good, have special needs sent to, yeah, it's rough, man. It can absolutely be rough. It can also be a blast, but it can be rough. Unraid community and community apps are really great for getting started. My conclusion is that it's a great product that I would recommend to a lot of people, but just plain Debian server is more my speed. I'm honestly the same way. All of my LXC containers are just like Debian 12 with Docker thrown on them, and then the apps that I want. So yeah. Also, Unraid is great for dumping a whole bunch of random drives. Yeah, that's one of the cool things about them, is that you can just kind of do a JBOD kind of thing in a pool, I guess, and I think that's pretty neat. Spatoony, that's a great name. Love your videos. You're awesome. We've already learned so much from you. Thank you very much. Best regards from Germany. Wow, thank you for joining, hanging out. Really do appreciate that. I wonder. I'm just going to try something here. Yeah, so I think, God, really, you suck. I cannot click today to save my friggin' life. Do this, and that, and log in. Yep, cool. Okay, so, I think, Collins, to go back, I think we've discovered that we can't use Cloudflare Proxy or Cloudflare DNS Proxy on top of this. Otherwise, it throws everything into a tailspin and doesn't work. So that's good to know. I'm actually glad we covered that, even though it did kind of derail me for a minute while I tried to get back into my system due to DNS and caching and whatnot. And look, normally in that situation, I would just bring up my VPN and connect with different DNS, or I would change my DNS settings. But with the issues we had with the stream earlier today, I don't want to take the risk. So anyway, yeah, using Cloudflare's DNS proxy isn't going to work with this. But while we're back up and running here, right? Let's see. Sheepdog says, I started using Terraform to manage Proxmox. I wish the community was more open to approaching their home labs using from DevOps approach, which was more controls. Look, I'm not saying I won't take a look at Terraform. I'm just not there yet. And here's the thing, right? And I totally, I'm going to come back over to here. So Sheepdog 96, I totally understand what you're saying. I really do. But not everything is DevOps. Not everything is data center level. Not everything is not everything is that. Sometimes, and it's kind of the same thing with like HexOS, right? The new TrueNAS skin, if you want to call it that, is that not everybody wants to get super deep into the weeds on how to manage every little nook and cranny of their server or their OS or their application or their whatever, right? They just want something that works to fill their needs. That's and it's split, right? Some people want a redundant data center next door so that when their home lab goes down, they've got it in but some people just want something that's simple that works. So everybody's at a different level. Everybody's got different needs. Everybody's got different wants, that sort of thing. But again, I totally get where you're coming from. I may take a look at Terraform just because I saw it. In fact, I'm making a note for Proxmox. But here's the thing, right? Like I'm more in the camp of I just want it to work, right? I don't necessarily care about getting super into the weeds about things. So if I start finding a project, and it may be the same with Terraform, but like with Ansible and Semaphore, even that's a bit like, or I could just log in and run a couple of updates and be done. But because I've got like 15 nodes, Ansible and Semaphore does simplify that for me a bit. Let's see. Tailspin, you mean Tailskill? Yeah. And that's kind of where my head was initially. Started out with Portainer and lots of Docker containers running on them. Problem was one broke. I had to interrupt everything. Now you just do LXC containers for each thing. That's, see? That's why I do it too. Genuinely, that's why I do it, because I've got a dozen or more LXCs running with different applications, whether it's a note-taking application or a password or a blog or a website or a whatever, right? If one of those goes down, I don't want it to affect everything else on that same server. So if I put them all on separate servers, separate OSs basically, then I can just restore one without losing anything other than maybe a few hours worth of data for that one instance, rather than potentially losing that same amount of data across all of my applications. And that's why I took that approach initially, which I knew was overcomplicated and convoluted, but it's what I needed for my brain to have the peace of mind to know that I could just restore a single application and all of its dependencies and whatnot without affecting everything else. Trying on Twitch 2, much better on the iPhone. Something breaks, only interrupts that one container. Yep. Captain JD23, LXC, everything as well. I have moved everything like 4 different times from backup. Absolutely. Well, and if you haven't taken a look at the new Proxmox Data Center Manager, that's a cool new solution that they've got still in beta. That means you won't have to use your backup server to move things anymore. And I love that. That was really neat to discover. I don't know anything about usernames here, unfortunately. Super easy. Server broke, grab a mini PC, backup, and running in like 20 minutes with critical up. Yeah, 100%. The nice thing about using Terraform with Proxmox is that it sets up VMs, LXCs, etc., and installs things into them that you specify. Yeah, I'm definitely going to take a look at Terraform. I think it's an interesting idea, but I just don't know anything about it yet. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Wait, what? I thought I logged out of that and into something else. I am so confused. Huh. I swear, man. I thought I logged in as somebody else earlier. Okay. All right. Okay. Sorry, having a moment. Okay. So then, let's do this. Let's come back over to here. So we're back up and running, DNS cleared, cache cleared, whatever. So we can add, let's see, sites. Do we have a site? Got our site there. Resources. Now we added a resource earlier, but yeah, it didn't. Oh wait, hold on. Need to go to sites first. I thought, let's refresh this. Okay, so I've got to re-add that site for, we did Hortus Fox. What is this? Oh, we're going to go to 15, Excalibur. That's what we were doing. And we've got Newt running, but now I have to change it because of the issues that we were having, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to call this Excalibur. Like, there we go. Okay. We're going to use Newt still. And I'm just going to copy this and replace that. Cool. Now you've copied the config. I'm going to create the site, and there it is. And it refreshed appropriately, so that's why it's there. It didn't earlier because of the DNS proxying over on Cloudflare. What I want to do now is actually come over to here and change my ID and my secret. Again, it's a different ID and secret each time, and I think that's great. Again, I know that I'm overly excited about that, but it's who I am, I suppose. So then we can come back over to here and refresh. And Excalibur is still offline. It's going to take it a second. We had to do this before, where we just kind of refresh the page a few times. And then eventually, in fact, you know what? While we're at it, screw it. Let's do this too. Let's see, starting ping check. Okay. So it's doing the stuff. Refresh. There it is. Excalibur is online. Awesome. So resources, right? We're going to add a resource. We're going to call this Excalibur. And then we're going to keep things simple. Oops, we're going to do that. The site again is Excalibur. We're going to do that. We're going to create the resource. And now we're going to come into here and we're actually going to build out. So it's a couple extra steps from what Cloudflare does and how it works. But like, again, if your container locally has an SSL built into it, you can do that. It's already got that option in there as well. So we're going to do 192.168.0.15, I believe. Yep, 15. So we're going to go to our containers. Tell you what, let's just do 8080. You know what, we'll just leave it. We're going to add the target. We're going to save the target. And then we're going to come up to here. I'm going to click that. Okay. Now, I'm actually glad this happened. Because it's pulling the SSL, if we just refresh, oops, let's do reload. There it is. Sometimes it takes it a second to pull the SSL and install it. So that's why it threw that error initially, is because it has to pull the SSL and do that sort of thing. But it's working now, and that's good. So that's working. We're happy with that. Now, again, let's jump over to authentication, because I can use the platform SSO and I can enter a role and I can say member or whatever, or I can specify a user, or we can add a passcode, or sorry, a password or a PIN code. So, right. So enable PIN code. We're going to grab this. We're going to open up Firefox again. And then no, I said, quit asking me that. Oh my God, Firefox is as insecure as I am. Constant questions, man. No, I said, don't do that. There we go. Cool. So now I can either log in as a user or I can use a PIN. And then log in. I'll give it a second. Gonna give it a second. It's gonna do it. I think it's gonna do it. It was the right PIN. I know that much. We'll just refresh. And there it is. Just refresh the page. It's fine. But there we go. Just that quickly and easily, I was able to create a tunnel, basically, using the Newt Docker container that is part of Pangolin. I was able to get an SSL for it. I was able to get it remotely connected. I was able to add authentication to it. Yeah, I really, really dig that. And again, or you could do a password. You can specify users. You can, again, add users to this if you wanted to go that route. The one thing that I'm noticing, we'll talk about that later. We'll do that in the video. I don't want to talk about that right now. We can also do shareable links, and I think this is kind of neat, right? So we just did Excalidraw as a service that needs a pin to get into it. So I'm going to create a link. I'm going to select my resource, which is Excalidraw. I'm going to call it Excal Share days. Let's just set it for 30 minutes and create a link. And then I can copy this, and then we're going to open Edge. Just we've got another new browser to deal with in this mess here on my screen. But then I can this share link that I just created that goes to a resource that requires a pin to access it. Oh, please contact for a new URL. Interesting. Well, see, again, I'm glad we're testing this. This is why we're here. This is why we're here. I'm going to close this. I need to find, there we go. Copy that. Successful. Only be able to see this link once. Make sure to copy it. Yep. And there it is. Yeah, so and using a share link like that bypasses all of the required authentication, which I think is great. If you wanted to keep things private for yourself or whatever, but then for the sake of like you just wanting to share a file with a friend or a family member, you can create a temporary share link. This is only good for 30 minutes. And then give them access to it. And then when you're done, when you know they're done, you can just delete that. And refresh. I said delete. Why didn't you delete? There we go. And now that's been deleted and that link no longer works. That's amazing. I dig that. That's so good. Under general, again, we've got organization settings and delete organization settings. That's all that's under general right now. Shareable links we looked at, users and roles. Roles, we can create new roles if we wanted to do that. We can create a name. We just call it guest. Create the role, and now we've got a guest user role, which is great. Then we can create additional users. That's pretty straightforward. Resources are just the applications themselves that we're accessing remotely. And then sites, kind of the same, but not really. That's really, really cool. I really, really, really dig Pangolin. Like I'm stoked. This may legitimately replace Cloudflare tunnels for me. I never thought I would say that, but this may actually do it. Of course, I'll need to harden my my VPS before I do that. Like the VPS that we're doing this on that I'm showing you is not the VPS I would use for my personal stuff. It's just not. This is one that the RackNerd set up for me for free, so that I could do tutorials and that kind of thing if I wanted to do that. So it was very nice of them to do that. It's just a VPS that they set up for me. And that's what I'm using for this. This is not something I would ever put into production, and we're only connecting to my demonstrative server that we use for tutorials. So, you know, it is what it is at this point. But let's come back over. Let's take a look. Yeah, let's exit this. And there we go. Here we can see Gerbil, Pangolin, and traffic. And of course, Newt is installed on the other side of things. So yeah, no, just such a good setup. I really dig this. And just so you guys know, this 51820, that is the port that WireGuard uses to connect between the two. So there you go. So let's see. Tried this a month ago, run WordPress on Cost OS, then use Cloudflare tunnel on my domain. But to get my admin login instead of my homepage, I was thinking, yeah, I actually made a video specifically about using WordPress with Cloudflare tunnels. It was fairly straightforward, but I think there was something in there that I had to tweak to get it to work right. That is above the option to change capitalization. Do you have any plans on collaborating with other YouTubers? I know Tech to Tim and a few others went out to 45 Drives not too long ago. I have in the past. I've done some different things with some different YouTubers. I've had other YouTubers reach out to me to do some different things, and some of them came through and some of them didn't. I actually did kind of a podcast episode thing with 45 Drives not long ago, a couple of months ago, I guess now, and they haven't released it yet for some reason. I don't know if I've upset them or something. I hope not. But yeah, so like I've done some of that. I do a pretty regular thing with Ethan Shawley with the self-host newsletter and YouTube channel. We've been doing some stuff together for a while. So like I would like to do more. It's just like this year has been garbage. Well, this year, 2024, the first like 7 months of that year were garbage for me, with the hospitalization and most of January, with pneumonia, blood clots in my legs and my lungs, and COVID all simultaneously. I had 3 things working against my ability to breathe. And for a while, I was on 40 liters of high flow oxygen while I was in the hospital. So it took me months to actually fully recover from that. And it's only been over the last few months that I've started feeling better. But there are still some things that I'm working on, medically speaking, as a result of all of that. So being able to do stuff with other creators in 2024 was not great. So I'm hoping to do more of that this year if everything goes well. Do you use anything like HashiCorp Vault to manage secrets or secret injections at runtime? Nope. Ben says, I just saw in their docs that they have OAuth support on their roadmap. Yeah, that'll be amazing. I'm really excited that they've got that coming. That's great. Kanoa says, by the way, in Firefox, you can go to About Network and clear DNS cache. Yeah, but I've got caching intermediary between the internet and here, so I had to wait for that cache to clear. But I appreciate the tip. You can set up Pango with Cloudflare. Not really. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Spoken about hardening. Are you doing? So sorry. Back up. So Alexia says, speaking about hardening, are you going to make a YouTube tutorial about that? Possibly. Dankster in the Discord actually put together a tutorial on his GitHub repository that I need to look through, that I've referred people to in the past. In fact, I think it was something else we were doing with RackNerd, that inspired him to do that, and I need to look at that, and then possibly work that into a tutorial at some point. But that's a good question, Alexia. I really do appreciate that one. Go Studio says, you can set up Pango with Cloudflare ? No, that's like Colin said there. We tried that, and it didn't work well because of the way the SSL was issued. It was causing redirect loops that we couldn't get out of without disabling the caching on Cloudflare. So you can still use Cloudflare to manage your DNS if you wanted to do that. You just couldn't use DNS proxying for the extra level of protection that Cloudflare offers. So you would want to set this up probably on a VPS, like RackNerd, like we've talked about. But make sure that VPS is hardened, whether it's on RackNerd or DigitalOcean or wherever. Make sure that VPS is hardened so that if somebody does ping your domain, they'll get the IP address of your VPS, and hopefully won't be able to do anything too nefarious with it. It's one of those cases of you want to disable, logging in via SSH as root, set up a different sudo user. There's a lot of steps that need to go into hardening that before you put something into production, for the sake of security. So I may make some content on that. In fact, I may reach out to Dankster about that. That's a lot of animals. A list of other. Do you have, Josh DS, do you have a list of other recommended channels to follow? I do. If you just go to my YouTube homepage, like 3/4 of the way down the page, I've got a list of people there. Hospitality in the US is pretty expensive. Yeah. Have you heard of Coolify? I've heard of it, but I looked at it and it was just like, I wasn't interested. And then the couple of times I asked the developer questions, I felt like his answers were short. They weren't helpful, really. It's kind of the same thing that put me off with Home Assistant for a while. I will probably revisit Coolify at some point. It's just the interaction I had with that developer kind of put me off of it for a while. And again, like we talked about earlier, like I had an attitude with that one person who kept hammering this one subject that wasn't relevant. He may have been having a bad day. So I've got no ill will towards the developer of Coolify. It's just in the moment when I asked that, I got kind of a curt, short answer that didn't help. So it's just like, well, screw it then. We're not going to deal with that right now. Let's see. Through the self-hosted newsletter, there was also a really good article about hardening a new server. That's cool. I already performed SSH hardening. Good. Self-host. There's where you can sign up for the self-host newsletter. Keep in mind that RackNerd does not offer a firewall in front of the VPS. I wrote up an article how to safely run Docker containers on this kind of setup. Oh, yeah, I definitely... Borgswarm, can you put that in Discord if you haven't already? I would love to take a look at that. I really would. Have you also have you tried Dockage? Yeah, I was the first guy to ever make content on Dockage. Like, not to toot my own horn, but toot, you know. In fact, I've talked quite a bit with the developer. He's the same guy that also built Uptime Kuma. Dockage has been kind of put on hold for right now while they're working on version 2 of Uptime Kuma. Hopefully, after they get that released, they'll go back to working on Dockage. What? I am... Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm just just reading. Remind me the name. Can you make a tutorial on how to protect your secrets in your containers? Yeah, once I come up with a good solution for that for myself, I will absolutely consider that. Typically what I do is, if I'm in the mindset to do things moderately correctly with security, is I'll put all of like my environment variables, my passwords, and all of that sort of stuff in a .env file, and then in the Docker Compose reference that .env file for the environment stuff. But as far as like actually building like secrets and things like that, I haven't quite got there yet. Space Dorg, glad to have you here. Thanks for joining. Really do appreciate it. Yeah, our case is what? Uptime Kuma is about to release version 2. That is my understanding. Let's see, Uptime Kuma. Actually, yeah, Lewis Lamb. There we go. I don't know if he's got anything about version 2. Let's see. Hold on. Let me see. Uptime Kuma v2. Here we go. So I just googled Uptime Kuma v2. It looks like they're 98% complete on v2, and they've still got some open stuff for this, but it looks like v2 is very, very close to being released. In fact, if you come over to here and look at their Docker Compose, is it here? Yeah. So like if you look at this Docker run command, I always get those backwards. There we go. This Docker run, that's way big. Anyway, Docker run -d restart always, whatever. Uptime Kuma app data name, Uptime Kuma. Yeah, there we go. Lewis Lamb / uptime Kuma, and then with the tag of 1. That is version 1. Hopefully, when the new version comes out, that will be a 2 instead. So yeah, they're actively working on it. Like I said, they're 98% of the way to complete based on their criteria here for version 2 to be ready. And I'm super excited to take a look at that when it's available. Let's see. Oh, thank you for sharing that, Collins. Do appreciate it. Docploy.com. This is one I think more tuned to website hosting on Docker. Yeah, I feel like I've heard of that. Maybe not. I don't know. Let's take a look. Deploy anywhere with freedom and ease. Interesting. Yeah. So it looks like this is just a third-party interface to connect to Hetzner, DigitalOcean, or AWS. I could be wrong, but that's what it looks like. FAQs. What is Docploy? It's a stable, easy to deployment solution designed to simplify the application management process. Think of Docploy as a free alternative to Heroku, Vercel, or Netlify. Yeah, so basically you're just using, this is kind of a dashboard, it seems, to deploy on third-party services. Interesting. Hadn't actually heard of that one, I don't think. Let's see. I do use Firewire and Proxy to isolate VMs. Do you use FW? I'm guessing, Arcade, you mean firewall there? Oh, there you go. Looks like Collins has answered that question for me. I appreciate that. Oh, that's for the SDN. Yeah, so you can, in fact, that's an interesting idea, right? Like you could, in theory, you could set up an SDN that would make your home lab invisible to your network. And then you could set up Pangolin as your way to access that. That's an interesting idea. In fact, I kind of did that with Cloudflare tunnels, but it was the how to hide a home lab in your home lab video is the one I did that one in. Videos about probably yeah. Kanoa says, from what I saw, it's coolify but simpler. That's actually good. That makes me happy. For secrets, instead of use tools like Vault, simple, no, but enterprise grade tools usually are not simple to use, and that's by design. The complexity adds complexity for the sake of security and that sort of thing. So yeah, that's that I absolutely agree with that. Holy crap. Let's see. All right. Sorry, I'm just going back and taking a look at what's going on with the actual started streaming. Okay, great. Okay, cool. Neat. All right. Sorry, I was just checking to make sure that everything was still looking good on the actual streams over here, both on Twitch and YouTube. Still having a moment from earlier. I'm gonna have to go and edit some stuff, but that's fine. Sheepdog, that's kind of the point. Like, so the idea was using Proxmox's built-in SD-LAN, or basically VLANs, for setting that kind of stuff up, and that's what I showed, was how to set up a Proxmox SD-LAN or VLAN in Proxmox, and then using Cloudflare tunnels to access those resources without them showing up on your actual network. Your router wouldn't give them an IP address. They wouldn't be taking up an IP address on any of your networking stuff whatsoever, because it's all handled in Proxmox. And that was it was kind of a proof of concept idea that I put together for that video. Let's see. RK says, for now I've got each VM on each VLAN with a /30 subnet, but once VMs are getting more, yeah, managing that many VLANs will definitely get complicated. HashiCorp Vault. I should probably look at that later too, just out of curiosity. Add this to my list. Add that to my list there. So yeah, that's that. Okay, so sorry, I'm cleaning out some stuff here. Okay, so we learned that we cannot use DNS proxying on Cloudflare. That's fine. We learned that deploying an SSL this way can take a minute, and you may get an insecure issue for a moment. We can. Let's come into here. Let's just dig through this one more time here real quick. Resources, we've kind of talked about that. Let's take a look at editing one of these resources just to see. That's fine. You can disable this on the fly. You can have multiple targets, it looks like. I don't know why you would want multiple targets. I'm kind of confused about that. But maybe it's to toggle back and forth between them. Maybe they'll do like a load balancing thing at some point. That would be neat. The one thing we didn't actually talk about is we can actually see the data that each application is using this way, which is great. I love seeing this, where you can actually see the data in and data out. View settings and delete, edit. Oops, no, click edit like you mean it. There we go. General for site, save settings. So general settings for is it online, and Hortus Fox is the name. One thing I would honestly like to see is, and this may sound weird, but Cloudflare has it, right, with their. Okay, you can see me. Good. I was looking up there instead of over there. We're good. So on this connection type down here where it says Newt, that's effectively your tunnel, right? So what I would like to see is a little indicator over here. Like we've got this online indicator. I'd like to see a connection type indicator that's like that if the new Docker container needs to be updated for the connection, I'd like to see a little indicator there saying, hey, you need to update your tunnel container. I'd like to see something like that in there. But again, that's just me being nitpicky. Because keeping in mind, this is still technically version 1.00-beta.2. So this is, I'm sure the developers got a ton of ideas. But I would love to see a little indicator over here next to the connection type to let us know whether or not our current version of the tunnel container or installation is still currently updated. Just as an easier way to manage that. There's a firewall option for each VM. Maybe check it out in the free time. Cool. Saw that Proxmox has a firewall option on each VM. Yeah, I don't know if that's relatively new or not. I don't remember. That's one of the things that I have a really hard time with is remembering what features were available when. That's why I'm not good with like with like processor SKUs or those kinds of things. Like I don't remember which or GPU SKUs. Hey, oh, you are amazing. Thank you so much. She brought me tea. But I don't remember. Like, I'm not good with remembering what capabilities came along with certain version numbers. I've never been good with that. And when I see people like Linus or Jake or anybody or Jay, Kyle, man, I feel if you haven't watched Bitwit's latest video, you should. He was part of his house was completely destroyed in the California fires. He made a video about it, released it last night. I'm glad he's got a good support team. But anyway, but he's really good about remembering a lot of that. Well, in this version of, Sandy Bridge, we got this whatever, right? I'm not that guy. I've never been good with that. And I will, RK says you can submit a request to Pangolin. I probably will. I'll go look through the requests. God, that's good. So I would definitely like to see that, like I said, that little indicator down there next to the connection type. Let's click view settings. Anything there? Okay, that's where we were a minute ago. We can edit this. Not really much there. Because we're on sites, we need to go to resources. I'm not sure why these are two separate pages. But they are, so it is what it is. View settings, there we go. So this is the resource settings where you can set up the IP address and the port, enable, disable, add authentication, add users and roles, that sort of thing. General, what's under here? Oh, Hortus and the subdomain is there as well. So yeah, really, man, I'm really, really happy with Pangolin. Like I really genuinely hope that the developer keeps working on this for forever. In fact, I want to see. Okay, let's see. Reverse proxy through a WireGuard tunnel. Expose. We talked about that. Identity and access management. Now, look, this isn't going to do the same thing as like. Oh man, it's completely escaped my brain. Authelia. It's not going to replace Authelia, at least yet, right? This is just going to give you access to get the access, right? Like this is going to prevent you from even getting to the dashboard, login page, whatever, at least for now. TOTP backup codes for two-factor authentication, organizations with multiple sites, users and roles, role-based. So much good stuff in here. I'm really, really happy with what they've done here. And he talks about use case. Like this dude has really put some thought into this. I don't know who the Forsel. Let's come over to here. Adapted for use in burrowing. Yeah, I'm definitely going to reach out to the dev on this because, like, look, I don't often sponsor projects, but I feel like this is a project I would definitely sponsor, just because I really dig with what they're doing. Development contribution guide, roadmap. And I love that they've got this roadmap already built out. Let's actually take a look through this. So add table filters on resources, filter by site, click show resources, transfer resources to a different site. That's cool. Allow resources without a subdomain. That's a good idea. Create a temporary link for a resource page. Show temporary links in a table on a resource page. That's a good idea. Track temporary and session count. I like that. Automatically delete expired links from the database. Man, they've really put some thought into this. This is incredible. Customize authentication session length for resources. Add a user profile page. I love that. I don't know why I love that, but I do. Change password from profile without reset password. Yep. Allow users to leave organization, see pending invites, cancel pending invites, add user to organization without invite. I would love to see that. Remember me for authentication sessions. Yep. Support for multiple domains. That's coming, apparently. Set domain per organization. We need to refactor auth to support cross-site cookies. Again, thinking so far in advance on this. Allow connecting to more than one domain to Pangolin. Support for running resource at root. Authentication and integration. We were talking about this a minute ago. So adding OAuth support. We talked about that. Cache authentication in Badger to speed up proxy requests. Nicely formatted error pages, bearer token, auth tokens, ability to generate API keys for resources, two-factor authentication with Duo. They also want to improve sidebar navigation, add refresh button to tables. I love that. Table page size selector, loading skeletons, iframe dashboard to launch apps, simpler to organizer. I love that. Pin apps to the side. God, man. Embeddable share links without authentication, similar to Grafana embed dashboards link with public URL. Monitoring with, come on. They're talking about doing uptime monitoring for that. That's amazing. Allow connecting into your private network from like a VPN client. SSH resource to support to connect non-HTTP endpoints, additional proxy features like headers, to use Pangolin auth on downstream resources, CI/CD deployment. They're going to add Kubernetes, or they're planning on it anyway. Sites that do not require Newt or WireGuard, so you can traffic to anything. Automatically create DNS records if provided with access to DNS provider like Cloudflare API key. That's cool. Support Tailscale as an exit node. I like that. And then they intend on at some point offering Pangolin as a hosted offering with a healthy free tier and pricing competitive to generally be available to Cloud VPS solutions. That's awesome. I love everything that they're doing with this. I am just so excited for them to be working on this. And again, I think it was RK who brought this to my attention. I love it. Really, really excited. I'm definitely going to reach out to the developer and chat with them a bit because I really do dig this a lot. They're about to implement CrowdSec, so some web application firewall stuff, which is a huge enhancement. I agree with that. Kadosh, I don't know, man. But thanks for joining. I appreciate you being here. Love seeing more people joining. Again, this is still one of my highest viewed streams with the number of people here, both on Twitch and YouTube simultaneously and thus combined, which is amazing. I'm really, really thankful for you guys, honestly. I wouldn't be able to do this if you guys weren't interested in what I was doing. So again, thank you for hanging out and doing this kind of stuff. Again, like I'm trying to do, like I mentioned earlier, I'm trying to get into where did it go? trying to get into like the Twitch affiliate setup so that I can start earning some money here and grow the community here as well. Followers, content, settings, stream manager, analytics. I'll find it. It's probably open on the other screen. I'll find it. It's fine. But no, again, thank you guys so much for letting me do this. Like, I know that sounds like I'm trying to placate, but I'm really not. Like, I really do genuinely appreciate you guys coming in here, hanging out with me, watching my content, putting up with my nonsense when I have a moment or a week or 7 months. You guys have been there, and I genuinely appreciate you guys hanging out and again putting up with all of that. So I just need to check over here real quick, make sure I haven't missed anything here. Cool. All right. Sorry, just checking, make sure there's nothing crazy going on. Alexia says, I think getting affiliate status shouldn't be too hard. I don't think so either, honestly. Where is it? I'm just trying to remember where it is. Streaming tools? Is it? No, it's not there. It's not under settings, channel moderation, content community. I've got to remember where it is. Stream manager? I don't think it's stream manager. I know there's like a... Oh, here, you're almost an affiliate. Okay, learn about affiliate benefits. Here we go. Okay, so here we go. I'll just show you this because there's nothing here. So get 50 followers. I did that a long time ago. I was doing a giveaway, and one of the ways you could earn points was to be a follower. I know it's cheesy, but it worked. Stream for 8 hours a month. We've done 3.5. That doesn't count this stream, which we've been at for almost 2.5 hours. So call it 6. Probably 6 or so. Again, this will go up. I've got to stream 7 days per month. So really it's the number of streams per month and the number of hours streamed per month that I've still got to work on. And we're doing that right now as a community. And again, that's awesome. And then, yeah, so I'm doing this one today. I'll do another one Monday. I don't know what we're going to talk about on Monday yet. But we'll talk about something on Monday, I'm sure. Maybe some of the stuff we've talked about that I've got my little notes over here about. I don't know what it'll be yet, but it'll be something. But yeah, I really want to get into affiliate status so I can start earning some money over here as well. Edit your next stream info, tip of the day. So anyway, yeah, I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's see. I've always watched your videos, and they've helped me a lot. Thanks. Thank you. I appreciate you checking out my stuff. Would be even better if notifications on YouTube would work. Yeah. I agree. I've always had an issue with YouTube notifications. That's why you got to follow me on the different social medias, unfortunately. Or I could take some responsibility here and actually have a schedule. That would be helpful for everyone too, I think. And I think I can get there. I think we're getting there. Kanoa asks, by the way, for DB Tech Reviews, have you thought about moving off WordPress and onto something that builds this site static like Hugo, etc.? I have considered it. In fact, we talked about that a little bit last week, I think. Like I've been using WordPress for so long at this point that it's just kind of my go-to for most things. But I have an issue with how, and again, we talked about this a while back. I have an issue with how Matt Mullenweg handled a situation or a series of situations over the past several months. And I haven't followed up with it in a while, but yeah, I haven't taken the time to follow up with that. And I haven't, because the problem is, like, I know that there are ways to export WordPress content and then import it into something else. I don't know if I'm ready to do that. Like I have a hard time I have a hard enough time like coming up with content and making myself sit down and do a lot of that stuff. At some point I probably should switch over, but then the other problem is you got to build the site, and you've got to copy over all of the content, and then there's a couple of things that have to happen, right? One of a couple of things, or a few different things. When you do a big site migration like this, because I've done this in the past, it used to be my job. Again, it was a long time ago. Things may have changed. Part of the problem with rebuilding a site from the ground up on a new platform, where you can't just do a direct migration of content, is that your URL structure has to stay the same. I'll just show you. Let's do this. Let's go over to DB Tech Reviews. There we go. And then let's jump over to here. Okay, so this is dbtechreviews.com. This is on WordPress, right? When I open up this blog post, right, it's dbtechreviews.com/2025/1/8/0108, whatever. And then unleashing, it's this long slug here, right? If you move your site to a new platform, this URL has to stay the same, or you're going to lose ranking in the search engines. So if people were to search for Tianji, I would lose ranking for that. In fact, I don't even know. Let's just do this. Tianji Docker. So GitHub, so this is all their official stuff. That's their GitHub. There's my video. And there's the live stream for that with all of the bookmarks. I appreciate all of that. hub.docker.com. Mirius Hosting did something there. Man, I don't even know. Maybe DB Tech Reviews isn't even. Maybe it's not even. Man, maybe it's not even being indexed anymore. Maybe it wouldn't even matter at this point. So let's just do this. dbtechreviews.com. Yeah, so there it is. But I had to search for it, right? Like I really had to search for it. Yeah, and that takes us to that. But anyway, if my site was more popular, got more traffic, was ranked better, the problem would be maintaining this URL structure, or writing a 301 redirect for every URL in my site to redirect from this to whatever the new version of that is. And I've done that. I have written some 301 redirect files by hand that took me days because there were so many things in some of the sites that I migrated, again, 15 years ago. But I've considered it, but it's the daunting overwhelmingness of making sure that everything transfers appropriately that has put me off from doing it. Yeah, true dead URLs. Oh, CSP, thank you so much. Thank you so much, CSP, for the donation. Really do appreciate that. That means a lot to me. Canoan says, if the new site has a good search model, then it's not too bad. I agree with that. And it might eventually be worth me doing something different here. Like back last year, maybe it was the year before. I don't remember when I canceled it. I had a moment of panic, and I misread something. We talked about this last week too. I had a ghost account. I had a ghost content management system set up. That was kind of like my own. It was like my own Patreon. Basically, it was dbtech.fans. I still have the domain name, but maybe what I'll do is. Maybe what I could do is put that back up, sort of, and do kind of like migrate all of the content over, and then give early access to members of that. Maybe I can integrate that with Patreon, something, I don't know. But then have early access to the members of that. But then after the release of the video, have it just go public. Or after the release of the public video, have it go public. I don't know. I'd figure something out there, but, and that's the other thing. Like Colin says, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Plays large. other things that you can do to occupy that kind of time. Yeah, like honestly, here's the thing, right? Like I'm not logged in, but I go to posts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 10 posts on this page, and there are 30 pages. Now, some of these could absolutely go away, like this Mayono thing, this Katie smartwatch. And like this is duplicate. I've got some duplicate stuff in here that could be removed. Like those are different. So I do know that there is some stuff in here that could be pruned. That wouldn't be a big deal. Like there's another one. So yeah, like there's definitely some stuff in here, more duplicate stuff that I should go through here and clean up. That would be good. But you're right, my bad. Thank you, Kanoa. I appreciate that. So to go back to what I was saying, right? So there are 10 posts on the homepage, right? But if we scroll down, there are 30 pages on here. And again, some of this, to repeat myself because I'm stupid, could be pruned out. Like I've got some duplicate stuff that needs to go. Some of these old reviews could probably go. Like this speed creating a YouTube channel banner could go. Again, that's another duplicate. So it's a matter of cleaning all of this up and then taking the time to move everything over. But we're still looking at more than like 200 articles, most likely 200 unique articles that I would have to move over. And that's really daunting in my brain. That's a big undertaking. And when I'm trying to create YouTube videos and do live streams and post on social media and engage with Discord and be a husband and a dad and a functioning member of society while still having downtime for myself and going to doctor's appointments, it becomes a lot and it starts to feel overwhelming. So I'm definitely like I would love to do it, but it's honestly it's one of those things where I would almost rather outsource it than do it myself at this point. But again, I'm still not quite in a position financially to outsource it. I know I could use Fiverr, or I could use something like that that would. I know I could use Fiverr or something. But even then, I've still got to go. I actually still use these periodically, but then I still have to go back through and proof everything to make sure that it's correct. This needs to go. Root screwed me bad. Sorry, just a little tangent. Root car insurance. I don't even know if they're still a thing. They are. So they give you this idea that you're going to get car insurance for next to nothing, right? But then when you renew, like when it renews, it goes from like $30 a month to like $400 a month, because that's just how their system works, the bait and switch. Or it was when I used it. Like their platform was garbage and I hated it. So I ended up switching out of that. But let's see. Oops, am I back on my stupid face? I am. Okay. Linux Master says, if you have proper caching, proper WAF, and front-end protection, I don't see the advantage of using a static site over WordPress. It would take a lot more time to manage that content. That is part of it. And that's just it, right? Like if you go to dbtechreviews.com, like it loads fast. Right, and that's not just because it's literally right here. It's still going across the world and back through the internet. Like this is still very acceptably fast, in my opinion, with regard to speed on this. So that's also a really, really good point. Have you been thinking to add and support your own app store in Casa OS? I don't think I've got the brain power for it right now. There are some creators out there that have done that, and I thought it was an interesting idea. At one point, I did something like I built my own template, or I had my own template available for Portainer. You can add custom templates here and click there and fill all that out. So I had one of those for a while that I think I found somebody else's version of and then modified it the way I wanted it to be. But as far as creating my own app store kind of thing for like Casa OS, I don't know that I've got it in me right now. Like right now, I'm really trying to focus on the content that I'm producing every week for the VODs for YouTube specifically. And it's been over the past couple of months. I've been trying to do little things as self-improvement, and it's little things to help me change my habits, right? Like if there are dishes in the sink, whether they're my dishes or the wife or the kid or the whatever, I spray them off, right? I don't always put them in the dishwasher, but I spray them off because when they get put in the dishwasher, they'll be cleaner when they come out. And it's just little. I'm trying to develop little habits as I go, so that I can gradually become a better person. And I feel like doing stuff like switching platforms for my website, adding an app store to the mix, doing it's too much to try to take on or even say right now all at once. So it may happen eventually if I figure out how to build one. But I don't know. It's not on my radar for right now. Soish was like, has it been long enough for me to joke about, oh, hey, look, the Chromebook stuff? Yeah, it's been long enough. I think we're past that. But again, the resources are available. If you know where to look, you can Google it, and my videos probably come up. My website might even come up. Let's find out. Let's see. Install Ubuntu on a Chromebook. There you go. Like Ubuntu now has tutorials on it. Hey, look, there's one of my videos about it from 6.5 years ago. There's one. Oh, that's from Chrome Unboxed. Yeah, like there's even more. Like, so if you Google how to do it, there are resources, like official resources for Ubuntu. Oh, it would even help if I might even get better results if I spelled it right. View all. Let's see. Yeah, that one is me when I had my bleached hair. Oops, darn it, you stupid. That is muted. Good. Yeah, so there's me when I had my bleached hair. That was a long time ago. Linux on my Chromebook. Yeah, that one is me also with the bleached hair. Yeah, so like there are so many resources available for this. And I think that was also part of my frustration, is that if they just Googled it, these are all videos, and not all of them are mine. In fact, very few of them are mine. There are a lot of videos that person could have used to do what they wanted to do, rather than harassing chat about it. So, I think the SDN isn't what I'm looking for. I was thinking about a simple firewall option, but I'm going to check on my own. Cool. Your website loads fast for me too in the Netherlands. Cool. Like, I'm actually stoked to hear that, Alexia, because it's always easy to say, well, it loads fast for me because there's a data center in Denver that's close to me that gives me the faster response times. So to check via somebody else by proxy, I'm actually really glad to know that the website that's hosted on that white and blue box right there is loading fast everywhere in the world. I love that. So no, I appreciate you letting me know. All right, says Armand says, hey DB, weird one. I have Portainer running in Docker, set it up with username and password, etc. But as soon as I pull a new image, when there is an update, it resets the container and I have to set it up again. that to me sounds like a persistent storage issue. And what I mean by that is this. Let's come over here. Let's find a Portainer instance that I've got available. Let's look. Xeraxi. Maybe. Yeah. Okay. So what may have happened, and I can't really verify this, but I'm just going to give you some examples, right? Oh, hold on. I'm getting a message over here that I need to look at real quick. Docker and more. Oh, damn it. What is this? Oh, Collins, thank you for sharing that. He shared something privately. Anyway, so with the issue of yeah, everybody's thinking the same thing, that it's probably that it probably has to do with your storage, right? So very often when you get Docker Compose files like this, you'll see something like this, right? And it'll have all of your stuff, and you get into volumes, and then your volume will by default be like ./config, or that's usually the most general way to say it, is we'll have something like this. By default, Portainer doesn't necessarily know what to do with this. So there's a couple of things that you can do with regards to volumes to help prevent this from happening in the future. If your Portainer user has the appropriate permissions on your server, which it probably does, you can do something like that. And like I always store my stuff in home/docker/app/database config, whatever, right? But this is typically the way I organize my stuff when I'm deploying Docker containers. Now, the other thing that you can do here, if you didn't want to deal with that, you could do this. We'll just do this. Xeraxi, if I could spell. There we go. And then we can drop down and we can do volumes. And we can do Xeraxi. Oops, like that. So this is saying, hey, we're going to use a volume called Xeraxi, but there's no slash on either, prepending or appending or whatever, right? So what that's going to do is it's going to look for a volume to be declared down here. And this will store your, in this case, your Xeraxi configuration in a Docker volume called Xeraxi. Now, there are benefits. There are pros and cons to each version of doing that, right? Doing it this way, you don't necessarily have to worry about permissions issues. You're a little bit more secure in theory, rather than having it just stored in a directory somewhere on your server. If somebody gets into your server, they're not going to find your config files as easily anyway, because they're not in home/docker/Xeraxi, right? Because they're stored in a Docker volume. Now, that said, if you're trying to get in and manipulate something, you're trying to edit a file in your config, or you're trying to do different things like that, you have to take a different approach, and you have to get into the Docker console for that particular application and modify it there. So there are pros and cons to each side, but it sounds to me like the issue that you're dealing with definitely has to do with volumes. So I have these volumes. I think Collins means pop into Discord. Yep. Okay. There we go. Cool. Doesn't volumes Xeraxi need a path to a volume? In this case, no, because we're declaring a Docker volume for this. So basically, it would be the same as, and that's fine. I don't care. It would be the same as like your Portainer data volume, right? Like you could do. In fact, we can just do this real quick. So we just do Xeraxi and do like this. We're just going to say, oops, Xeraxi. We'll just do it live. I really need to get that on a thing, right? So I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do volumes Xeraxi, like so. And I'm just going to put in. Cool. We're just going to deploy this like that. We'll say update the stack and update. And this way, hopefully this will work and we'll be able to see it kind of in real time. Wow, that port is way too high. I screwed that up. I don't know if that's going to work. We'll give it a second. It actually deployed. I'll be damned. All right, so then if we come over to volumes, now we've got this Xeraxy volume here. And here is actually the mount point for that volume. So somebody would have to know to look in that area to find that particular volume. So that's kind of what I wanted to demonstrate, is that you can set up Docker volumes that way in a stack. That's, anyway. It is what it is, right? But that's just what I wanted to show there, was for the sake of demonstration that you can just set up a Docker volume that way and not have it mapped to a specific location on your server. So anyway, hopefully, Alexia, hopefully that helps. Let's see. Cool. Good. Glad you got it. That's it. And sometimes it's little things like that that can really change your perspective on things. I'm not saying this will, right? I'm not. But what I am saying is it's knowing little things like that can really change how you approach deploying certain things. So yeah. But that's Docker volumes for you, and they confused me for a long time too. Like, I didn't understand why you'd want to use one over the other. I didn't understand why it's important to have a structure for that kind of stuff. And that's why I started using home/docker/whatever. It just because that way it's consistent in my brain. I always know where to look, because it's very rare that I use a Docker volume. But when I do, I have a good reason for it. So that's, yeah, I definitely need to do that. I need to get that local. Sorry, Collins shared another thing privately with me. The Family Guy version of We'll Do It Live, which I can't actually share. I'd have to download the video, edit the video, because I'm pretty sure even this version has all of the swears in it. And so I would need to edit that with the bleeps and then pop that up. But yeah, that's. Oh, in fact, no, he shared the original one too. Yeah. So, let's see. Same with networks, like networks Xeraxy. Yeah, more or less. That's more or less the same. Yeah, with Alexia. Thanks so much. Seems like the folder that I've defined my env file for Portainer was never created in the Portainer. Oh, there you go, Armand. That would do it. Also, Collins brings up a good point. Sometimes services just don't want to work with mounted volumes. Like sometimes the way a container is built will only work with a Docker volume, or will only work with a mapped volume, or it depends on how the developer handled it. I've also run into situations like we talked about briefly earlier, where a container won't work on ZFS for some reason. There are little workarounds to it that I've had to do with Proxmox several times, but yeah. So it's just you gotta figure out what works and what doesn't. You gotta understand what those error messages mean and how to Google them. Sometimes you'll get an OCI shim error message, and very often it's a storage issue, and you can manipulate that further up the chain outside of Docker. But there's just all kinds of different things that keep you learning something new all of the time. So you don't have to define the mount point for a volume. You do have to define a mount point for a volume. Just you have to do it in one of two different ways. You either have to, let me come back over to here real quick, editor. Well, this one won't matter, but in fact, let's see if I can find something different to use. You either have to declare a mapped volume with like home/docker/app/whatever, or you have to declare a Docker volume. So either way, you have to have a volume if you want persistent storage. I hope that helps. Oh man. Oh, dude, Collins, thank you. Sure, James Collins just gifted 5 memberships. Cool. I'm glad you got one of your own memberships there, Collins. That's great. I've seen that a Docker container does not want to work on Ubuntu 24.04 and ended up installing 22.04 instead of... Yeah, and sometimes that happens. There are just little compatibility things sometimes, and you've got to know how to fix it or get around it, or figure out what the issue is and why it's an issue. Dork stick. Cool. No, again, thank you, Collins. That was really nice of you. I appreciate it. Sim, dude, thanks for joining. Appreciate you being here. If you guys aren't aware, Sim is also a content creator. I actually put out a video recently that I need to do for myself, where he built a little, I think 8U 10-inch rack for some of his smaller stuff, and I really want to do the same thing. But I think I'm gonna have to do like a 4U thing with where I want to put it. But I'm gonna wait on that. So yeah, so here's the thing. Just so you guys have got a heads up, I've been reached out to. Well, I reached out to Unify, Ubiquity, whatever, and they may be sending me some hardware to set up for my network. They said that they would be willing to send me a network stack. So there will probably be some Unify, Ubiquity content coming at some point in the near future. Also, Minis Forum reached out to me recently, which was really cool in my opinion. I've been wanting to work with Minis Forum for a while, and I reached out to them in 2023. I thought it was 2024, but it was 23, because I really wanted an MSO1. I still really want an MSO1, but they've reached out and asked if I would take a look at one of their mini computers. With it's one of their Intel models anyway. So there's going to be some more of that kind of stuff coming here soon, to kind of mix up with the content as well. Thanks for the shout out. Very nice of them. I'll be waiting for that video. Yeah. Noah Kanoa, by the way, you still have records attached to. I would love to be able to know what the rest of that sentence was, Noah. Let's come over to here. Let me do this real quick. Why not? I don't. Man, it really helps if I pay attention to what I'm doing. But I seem to have a hard time with that sometimes. I'm gonna come into here, and then where did it go? That's not the one I wanted. I wanted the other one. That one. Oops. No, what the hell? I don't understand. That's that. I don't understand what is going on here. Services. Oh, there we go. Give me just a second here. We're just gonna do that, and then shut that down. Cool. Yeah, still not test. Yeah, no, I see your test. Yeah, no, the last thing I see from you is, by the way, you have a record still attached to nothing, and then your next message is test. So I don't know what that was. Any brands that you're excited about in 2025? You know, that's an interesting question, because I put some thought into that. And I'm still trying, I guess, to figure out who I am as a creator, which I know sounds a little silly. But basically, like, I'm excited to work with Unify. I'm excited to work with Minis Forum. I'm excited. I'm excited to work with brands that I will actually use. And I know that may sound weird, but like over the last couple of years, I've taken on sponsorships, ad reads, things like that from companies that I didn't really care about. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to them, but there have just been brands that they're like, here's a few $100 if you'll put this, 60-second ad read in. And it's fine. But I think I want to, are we slacking out again? Why is YouTube being like this to me? Oh, it's being choppy again. I don't understand that. Is Twitch being like that too? They're both crapping out on me. I don't understand. God, that sucks. I'm really frustrated with this today. Man, okay, and no, that's still me. It says you're good, fine on my side. I guess it's just on my end. I don't know, maybe something's taking up all my stuff. Anyway, cool. I'm lagging real bad over here. Nothing. Okay, cool. We're just gonna power through it. Stream's fine. Cool. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. So anyway, I don't want to just do ad reads and sponsor spots for whoever will throw a few $100 at me, right? I'm not trying to be elitist. I'm not trying to say anything negative about other creators. I feel like I've taken on some projects, some sponsorships, some whatever that didn't really fit the brand of self-hosting, of technology, of mini PCs, and there's been a lot of stuff that I've taken on kind of as a response to whatever was going on in the moment. And it's like, cool, I can use that extra few $100 for this thing that just came up. So I'm excited to work. Maybe that's what it is. Armand says your network equipment is just being anxious because they'll soon be replaced with Unify stuff. Maybe. But anyway, what I'm trying to do is I want to make sure that the stuff that I'm accepting sponsorship from and brand deals and things like that makes sense for the channel. I'm tired, honestly, of being very reactive to situations. So I'm going to keep doing this kind of stuff. I'm going to keep doing live streams. I'm going to keep creating content. I'm going to keep trying to get better, and hopefully the sponsorships I want more of will come my direction. Hopefully more live streams will keep you guys coming back to watch the content. The content will keep you guys coming back to watch the content and keep the community growing. So yeah, I really, there's a lot of brands I'm excited about, but it's a matter of, do they want to work with me? Possibly something with 45 drives this year. I don't know. The last thing I heard from them was they wanted to talk to me about some new stuff, but that was 3 weeks ago or something. But everybody's busy this time of year, so I'm not holding anybody to any accountability for getting back to me right now. Records, interesting. I'll have to take a look at that. But so yeah, we'll see what happens. Kanoa, interesting. Your stream looks, Twitch looks fine. Okay, cool. Well, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. Like, again, if you guys have ideas for me for content, for whether it's for live streams or videos or whatever, hit me up in the comment section. Come over to Discord. You can email me. My email address is david@dbtechreviews.com. You can find it just about anywhere. But if you come over to Discord and reach out to me, please don't DM me. I get a lot of people just trying to DM me randomly, and that weirds me out for some reason. So you can we've actually got a suggestions Discord. Stream's fine, okay. But yeah, we've got a section for suggestions. If you want to drop it in there, that would be amazing. Again, you can email me, whatever. But I would love to know what you guys are interested in, what I can talk about more, what I can explain in more detail. Would love to do all of that, and keep you guys along for the ride. So I do think I'm going to wrap this up, though. We've been at this for 3 hours, and that's just crazy to me. In fact, it's been longer than that because we started at noon my time, but then had that fiasco at the beginning. So yeah, if you guys have got thoughts or ideas or whatever that you'd like to share with me about content ideas, questions, whatever, head over to Discord or email me. That's the best way to do it. And we'll just keep doing what we're doing here. We'll hang out, we'll chat, and we'll keep building the community. So yeah, I do think with that said, I do want to wrap this up. I want to thank you guys so much for spending some time with me today. I think we picked up like 7 new followers over on Twitch, which is really cool. I dig that. I didn't see the overlays that I thought I was going to see via Twitch. I'll have to play with that a little bit. But yeah, no, thank you to everybody who hung out for the last little bit, whether it was 3 hours or 3 minutes or whatever. I appreciate you stopping by to say hi and interact a little bit. So I think with that said, I am going to go ahead and wrap this up. I'm going to go hang out with the wife and the kids a bit. 3 hours exactly on Twitch right now. Yep. So, yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Go do something fun. Don't do anything to manipulate the number of people on the planet Earth unless you mean to. And I guess I will talk to you guys here again real soon. Again, probably look for a live stream around the same time, maybe a little earlier Monday if you want to hang out for that. So, again, thank you all so much, and I'll talk to you again here